of the season, and Kevin Weeks making his 10th appearance as a member of the Fort Wayne Komets. You can see Mezen has stepped up when called upon this season, a goals against below 2 and a record of 2-0, and Weeks has been everything that John Torchetti hoped he would be when Florida assigned him to the Komets. Torchetti on the brink of becoming the other Eastern Conference All-Star coach. It's based on winning percentage at the end of this weekend. Right now he has the upper hand. His team has a game tonight and tomorrow. If they win either one of them, he will be the All-Star coach aside Steve Ludzik, the Viper head coach, who will be the other co-coach in the Eastern Conference, having clinched earlier this week. For the second consecutive night, the Vipers, who saw Dan O'Halloran in Grand Rapids, will see him wear the orange stripe. Dave Cronenberg and Joe Buzide will assist him as the linesman. Set to go at the Palace, the second meeting of the year between the Fort Wayne Komets and the Detroit Vipers. Harold Hirsch will take the draw against Eric Boganecki, a couple of players who faced off against one another in the ECHL a couple of times earlier this season, and now both have made the move to the I. Precipitated by injuries, and underway Detroit dumps it in as Banks sends it below the goal line. After it goes Hirsch, knocked away from him to the line and driven wide of everything by Aldridge. Stepping off the left point, it's Mansoff who kicks it into the zone. It's then played past him, and Boganecki through center into the Detroit zone. Pulls up, loses an edge, gets a shot away, and that's picked off by Mansoff, who comes back nicely, but then fans trying to go up the board. And we'll get a whistle as you hear the stanchion behind Mansoff after he took the hit go down onto the ice, and just 33 seconds into it, the game's first whistle.
We're going to have to do some repairs here. Put that back up.
Andy Bizo against his former mates. He spent 2 seasons with the Fort Wayne Komets and was embroiled in a contract dispute with them at the beginning of this year, which forced him to go to Muskegon of the United League. And you can see he and Robin Bawa got tangled right off the face-off.
He was so excited before the game tonight. He just couldn't wait to play these guys. And you know he's going to be hitting everything that's not moving. And that was, oh, he got a little extra shot in the head there.
Is that legal?
Might not be.
He told me jokingly after last night's game in Grand Rapids, he said, I may have to do a flying header into the bench. And he didn't mean the Detroit bench before it's all said and done. But he plays with a lot of vim and vigor, and he's got extra vim tonight.
Well, I know that he had some problems with John Torchetti there, and was not happy the way the relationship ended. And there's nothing a player likes better than coming back against his ex-team and having a great night. And
there'll be nothing better that the Vipers like than the break that they're going to get after tonight. But look what the schedule has done to them since the holidays. Okay, the holidays are over. No one's being nice to you anymore.
It's incredible. And the most amazing thing about this schedule is look at the bottom number. They haven't lost a game. They had every excuse to lose a game or games. Guys of the lineup, key guys out of the lineup, playing everywhere. They just managed to put together an unbelievable string and playing a whole lot of games in a short period of time. And I'll tell you what, there's no better time to get hot than when you're playing a lot. And maybe it's good because they didn't have time to think about between, geez, we should be winning these things.
Yeah, almost the same situation for John Torchetti with the Komets as well. They have 6 East Coast League call-ups on their current roster, one of which unable to play tonight because of a shoulder injury, Derek Eberle. But Torchetti's seen his team make a run from the bottom of the Central Division. They come into tonight's game second in the division, 2 points back of Cincinnati, but they played the least number of games in the IHL, just 37 coming into this weekend. And in fact, after this weekend, will be the only team in the I that hasn't at least reached the 40-game point. And as we look at the standings, we mentioned that his winning percentage, his Komets, is higher than Cincinnati's, and that's because of the games in hand. You see they have more victories, but still 2 points behind the Cyclones.
We'll just make sure that it was up to his
the official Banksy okie dokie was
right.
Given there.
His official standards. Maybe he's auditioning for a maintenance job after his career's over.
Gave it the stamp of approval. Well, if you're a little late wheeling into the Palace tonight,
don't worry about it.
Keep coming. You haven't missed anything. We're 33 seconds into it. And the puck dropped at center ice, and Boganecki controls. Fort Wayne in their road blacks with the white numerals with white and orange trim. Detroit in their home whites with the red numbers and the aqua trim and the eggplant pants. Bizo hard in after it as it was dumped back into the Fort Wayne zone, and now it goes off the skate of Hirsch back into the Detroit bench.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Ludzik's got the last change all night here, but Fort Wayne's going to do their best to have Robin Bawa against Andy Bizo every time Andy's on the ice, because they do not want him to stir things up.
John Torchetti has a very good relationship with the brass here in Detroit. Last year, during the Viper Turner Cup playoff championship run, he was here for roughly half of it, observing and helping out, being a third eye in the sky up in the press box during games. Very good friends with Rick Dudley, the Viper general manager, who's been a mentor for Torchetti. Dump back into the Detroit zone. Bradshaw back in the lineup. Second game back for him after the lacerated knee that forced him to miss 4 games. On New Year's Eve, incurred at Grand Rapids. To the line, Armstrong held it in, and his shot went wide short side. Stepping off the point, Guy Dupuis keeps it in. Battling behind the net is Herbers, who's dumped on the play, gets back up and returns a reverse swing with the stick towards Dupuis. As the
there we go, he's gone.
Kessa has Beddoes in clean of the breakaway backhander, and Weeks makes the save. Puck along the goal line, chopped out in the slot. Kessa gets on it, let it go. Weeks made another save there, and it's clear to the line and out.
It's pretty evident early on what Kevin Weeks has been doing for this hockey team. 2 unbelievable saves right off the bat.
Beddoes, who had a great first game back after missing 13 with a sprained knee last night in Grand Rapids, a game in which he scored a goal, had a golden opportunity right there. Komets to center. This is Dan Curry into the Detroit zone. His drive deflected. Mezin plays it away. Gruden on it there. To the middle of the ice for Carson, who gets it out center. Poked ahead by Thomas, and he can't control it. Coming back was Curry to knock it away. Carson with Thomas in paradise right now for Detroit. We've played just over 2 minutes. To Gruden along the far boards. Back to Bobby J, who's back in the lineup for the first time tonight after missing last night's game in Grand Rapids with the after effects of the mild concussion that he incurred early in the first Wednesday here against Indianapolis. If I'm going to get sidetracked talking about all the injuries and how long everybody's been out, I'm not going to do any play-by-play.
Just let us, we'll short circuit. Half the guys that used to be in the lineup aren't in the lineup anymore.
Batherson from out of the zone drops it back, and Tom Nemeth, they call up from Dayton of the East Coast League, dumps it deep into the Detroit zone, heading for a change. Gruden with speed through center. Will just flip it in wide of the Fort Wayne net. Weeks is out to play it to the corner. Around and up the near side. Bolton didn't clear. Hirsch just dumps it to the far corner. On it there is Mansoff, who fired it towards the net. Bizot is dumped in front of the penalty coming up to Fort Wayne. Ed Campbell, I think, will go off here. Either he or Richie Branilla for a roughing call. And Bizot has made his presence felt just 3:11 into the hockey game.
Well, it was not unexpected, and
I think they're both going to go.
We've talked about it. Well, Andy Bizot gave the goaltender a little shot, and then he, in return, got a little shot from Ed Campbell, protecting his goaltender. But you know that's where he's going to head. He's going to head to the front of the net and try to stir up what he can. He's going to go right to the front of the net here, try to screen the goaltender. Ed Campbell tries. Now he's going to give the goaltender a little shot. Ed Campbell's going to give him a little shot. Both go. This Clayton Beddoes right off the bat. The Fort Wayne defenseman here gets stuck in no man's land. He doesn't know whether he's going to pick up the puck or pick up the forward, and then down he goes. And great save by Kevin Weeks. And we talked about what he's done, and Clayton Beddoes tries to freeze him, goes. Kevin Weeks just stays right with him. He is so acrobatic and he's so quick and athletic. I mean, you got to freeze him solid before you make that deke. Otherwise, he's going to beat you every time.
4-on-4 on the roughing calls as Shaw's blast kicked away by Weeks. The rebound sent right back through the slot, bounced over Kessa's stick as Denny Felsner tried to feed it to him. Back in a hurry come the Komets. Lee Davidson into the zone, pulls up his snapshot blocked by Herbers, and Detroit with numbers if they can get possession. Shaw kicks it out of the zone and feeds it ahead.
Well, Denny Felsner, be named, is familiar to people around here. Was a great star at the University of Michigan for 4 years, and has kind of struggled to find his way in pro hockey. Called up from Chesapeake today.
Made his Viper debut actually last night in Grand Rapids. Had a good outing in the 4-2 Detroit victory over the Griffins. To the corner, this is Shafronov. He centers all the way back to the line. Oh, right in the high slot. Armstrong just unable to get his stick on it. Otherwise, he has a good chance. Again, Shafronov to the side of the net, and Herbers knocks it away. Dupuis didn't have anybody to give it to. Herbers will wait for Detroit to finish forward changes, and now sends it across for Shaw. Return pass for Walker misses him, and Dupuis plays it ahead for Stefan Walby. Rink wide for Nemeth, who feeds it ahead. Nemeth's been a nice addition for this club. In 6 games with the Komets, he's a +5 since being called up from Dayton of the East Coast League. Jason Mansoff, who's been the same for Detroit, a goal in 2 games since joining the club, gets it to Walker into the zone. He lets one go. That's blocked, still in the high slot, and pulled out of harm's way and brought the other way by Walby. He'll go all the way into the Detroit zone, working on Mansoff. Got a shot away. Mezin made the save, and the rebound poked to the line, not out by Aldridge. Held in by Armstrong, who keeps it deep. Still 25 seconds in the 4-on-4. Mansoff comes over, pins his man to the boards there. Now it's brought outside the zone by Ian Boyce, the longtime Comet. His pass picked off at center by Beddoes, who throws it into the zone, then pokes it across for Aldridge, and he couldn't get it off his skate as Pederson came over and contended him. Final seconds of the penalties now to Campbell and Bezo, who will come out of their respective penalty boxes. Both teams are full strength. Puck into the Detroit zone. Penalty coming up to Gruden as he hooked his man down on the play. That's Walby. Boyce goes to the back wall after it, digs it free. Walby with it there. It's knocked back for Davidson, and then Carson will touch up. And John Gruden's going to go off for the trip, says Dan O'Halloran.
It looks like he understands what the potential is here tonight. There's two great teams that are both hot and both playing really well, and he's going to call it close. It was just a very, not a real big tug by John Gruden here. Just a little tug goes down. He's going to call it right away.
It's Andre Bashkirov that he hauled down, who actually had a couple of games with the Vipers a few years back, but came over midseason from Las Vegas and has had a pretty big impact on this team. He has been a +17, has been Bashkirov in just 21 games since joining John Torchetti's crew. And he leads the IHL in plus-minus at +20. Komets to the power play. Shot from the line, sticked away by Mezin off the stick of Campbell. He'll quarterback this unit along with Dupuis. To the slot, Bauer's shot kicked away by Mezin. Dupuis holds it in, it comes on the goal line, and Shaw is able to clear it away. Detroit last night shutting out Grand Rapids on the power play, stopping all 5 of the Griffins' man advantages. At an even 83% now on the kill, and amazingly, Dave, that's only 7th in the league.
It's just the penalty killing numbers have gone up dramatically in hockey the last 3 years, and the power play numbers obviously correspondingly have gone down.
Campbell flips it deep into the Detroit zone. Mezin wanders out, did not get a piece of it. Aldridge now has to battle Bauer on the end boards. Over comes Beddoes, dug free, sent to the line. Faking the shot is Dupuis, who keeps it deep on the half wall. Gets it back to Campbell, left point. Takes a look, throws it towards the net. That deflected by Kessa, who broke his stick. And now loses it. Detroit at a severe disadvantage right now. Already a man short, and one of them doesn't have a stick. Puck comes to the near boards. Kessa just runs into Campbell, freeing the puck up, and Aldridge throws it out of play.
Dan Kessa did what he had to do there without a stick.
You can't do much without a stick, but there's one thing you can do, and that's hit.
And that's exactly what he did. Took the body and took it well, freed up the puck. But there's a stick right there, but he's making sure he's not going to get by. He just finishes him right off. Down he goes. Gives Keith Aldridge a chance to get the puck and clear it out.
So he'll get a new twig. The new Viper leading scorer, Dan Kessa, had a goal, or excuse me, had a couple of assists last night in Grand Rapids. He already led the team with 19 goals, passing Pete Savaglia, who's missing his 15th consecutive game tonight with hip problems. Kessa now with 36 points on the year, one better than Savaglia.
What's amazing is Pete Savaglia held on to the lead.
Now, he got off to such a great start, offensively speaking. He's still tied for the team lead in assists with 25. John Gruden tied him last night with an assist. Jimmy Carson right behind him. Vipers still shorthanded for another 35 seconds as Pederson comes back to get it off the faceoff in the Fort Wayne zone. Walker got a piece of his outlet pass, forcing Pederson to circle back with it. Now for Armstrong, and again Pederson. Former standout at the University of Minnesota. Will drive it around the boards into the Detroit zone. Walby gets through on the far side, pinned to the boards by Herbers, who comes over. 15 seconds on the power play to the line. Armstrong, wrist shot, score! Deflected on the way. Dan Curry came across the front of the net, and I believe he got a piece of it. It's 1-0.
I don't know. I think Andre Mezin thought he was going to get a piece of it, and I don't know if this thing might have gone straight in. But there was traffic in front of the net, which we talk about for the Vipers. You want to have traffic in front of the net, see what. Don't give a goaltender a good chance to see the whole puck. Good play back to Pederson, who moves it right over right away. Shot low on the net. Just some traffic in front of the net, and I think Dan Curry's pointing at him. I think he's saying that's yours. It went right through. See if we can catch it here. Doesn't look like anybody touched it. It's tough for a goaltender because a goaltender sometimes plays it like it's going to be deflected, and when it isn't, it can fool you, and it looks like that's what happened there.
So the Komets jump out on top 1-0. They've given the goal to Curry. The assist from Armstrong and Pederson for now, and we'll see if they change that.
I should know better than your eyesight.
Bezo back into the zone along with Banks. Detroit now down a goal, and his shot didn't have much on it. Weeks just kicked that away. Hirsch cycles it back down low. Campbell will chase it, and now Gruden, who had snuck up off the point, has to retreat defensively. The Komets will use the glass to clear. Aldridge will take the long way there. He was going to get the call anyway, so icing is the call. 12:13 to go in the first period at the Palace. The Komets on the power play have taken a 1-0 lead. This is Viper hockey.
7th grade. What was this jumper made of?
Third was Gordie Howe in a recent Hockey News article depicting the 50 greatest players in the history of the game. And of course that makes for good
conversation.
Yeah,
I already have
fodder.
I already have a bone to pick that I still think Gordie Howe is the greatest player.
And many have a bone to pick because he was number 2 and ahead of Gordie Howe. I don't think there was really too much dispute
Over 1, 2, 3.
over one.
I dispute one. Most defensemen like to stick together.
Well, it's a union. Right now 1-0 Fort Wayne. What are they called in baseball? It's the hot stove league. And that's basically what it does for hockey. Detroit offside. Beddoes couldn't escape the zone. Aldridge sent it back in. Robin Bawa now becoming a fixture in Fort Wayne. 3rd consecutive season he's been there. Spent some time in San Diego as well as in Kalamazoo, the Michigan K-Wings in years prior to becoming a Comet, and now a Comet with a C.
Big, tough, physical winger, and I'm sure him and Andy Bezo have had more than a few conversations together over the years.
Amongst the leading shooters in the IHL from a shooting percentage standpoint. Always one of those guys that gets real good position, and it's almost like dunks in basketball. Doesn't shoot from a long ways away, and then, of course, enhances your percentages at times.
Well, he's having a very good year offensively.
Herbers from out of the Detroit zone, ahead for Jimmy Carson, and his stick hooked from behind by Davidson, who quickly moves it the other way. Bashkirov into the Detroit zone again, loses his footing as it's knocked out from under him to the line, held in by Pederson. Just dumps it to the open corner. Shaw is on it there. Davidson spilled behind the play, and the Vipers break out. Carson quickly dumps it deep into the Fort Wayne zone. Weeks out to play it. Back up the boards, it bounces to the line. Long shot did not get through. Still laying there, and Felsner nearly got a stick on it. Now did, and it's swatted out of the zone by Nemeth, who just gloved it out of harm's way. Thomas turns back in and fires it deep into the Fort Wayne zone. Detroit will get a change. That'll allow the Komets to clear. Nemeth from up the left side. Dumped as he came through center by Hirsch. Puck into the Detroit zone. Hops the stick of Bobby J, who will hinge it back for Gruden.
I'll tell you one thing Detroit's got to realize right away is they got to make smarter dump-ins. They got to keep it away from Kevin Weeks. He handles the puck better than some forwards.
Here's Hirsch from Bobby J into the Fort Wayne zone. Wide on right wing, a high shot that is off the chest protector of Weeks. He juggles it and holds on. They have made a change now. The Fort Wayne goal is given to Chris Armstrong. The assist will go to Pederson. And also to Norm Batherson. For Armstrong, it'll be his 4th of the season.
Why should I doubt my eyesight? I just don't. I can't.
Well, I think you hit it on the head when Curry turned and pointed at Armstrong as if to say, I did not get a piece of it.
It's yours.
Either way, 1-0 Fort Wayne.
I wish more forwards had done that with me. I would have doubled my goal total.
Branilla in behind the Fort Wayne net, can't swing it around the boards. It comes back, and Campbell will go near side to Curry, who does clear. Bobby J chases after it. The Viper plus-minus leader at +12 on the year. Pulls up behind the Detroit net. Halfway through the opening period, the Komets of Fort Wayne with a 1-0 lead. Banks gives it back to Jay, the former Comet. And his pass goes right through everybody. This goes the length of the ice, racing after it. Branilla beats Banks to it, but he keeps the pressure on. Around for Campbell, and it's cleared ahead. Bezo finishes his check on him.
I can tell you right now, Ed Campbell's going to be really sick of seeing Bezo before this game is over.
The New York Ranger property, Campbell has been very solid of late for the Komets. picking up 10 points in his last 10 games. He's got a plus 13 in that span.
The brother of Jim Campbell, the St. Louis Blues, both went to Northwood Prep.
Walker gets it in front. Oh, what a save Weeks made on Kessa. Good work by Walker, who just kept churning up the right wing and got the corner and got the puck in front.
Detroit only had 6 shots. They've had 4 graded chances. Here's another one.
Kessa feeds Aldridge, and on the backhand, Weeks made the save there, and Ian Boyce will clear the slot to the line, held in by Beddoes. Run down by Kessa. Snapshot wide short side. He never really got the shot he wanted there. Cycled low by Walker, back in front, and that was deflected away as Beddoes got to the net. Herbers comes over, plays it behind the net. Kessa seals off the boards on the end side. In comes Beddoes. Knocks it down. Down goes Dupuis. Beddoes to the corner, over skates it as he was hooked on the play. Bolton hit there by Kessa, dug out by Walker. Back to Kessa, coming in front, knocked off his stick. Herbers sneaks off the right point, and he'll keep it deep. Swings it around the board. Shaw goes after it. Foul to it. Send it to the corner. Bolton will get it there and just risk this one high the length of the ice. The Komets will get it changed the hard way. Icing will be the call. 1-0 Fort Wayne. This is Viper hockey.
Surge. It's a fully loaded citrus soda with carbos. Beat the rush.
On January 18th, a classic NHL event becomes a world war as the NHL on Fox returns with the 48th All-Star Game. In an Olympic preview, Canada's Gretzky and America's Leclerc unite to lead Team North America against the rest of the world. World War III will be fought on ice. The NHL All-Star Game, January 18th, only on your local Fox station.
Well, we talked about Kevin Weeks at the top of the show, and I'll tell you what, he is as advertised. Great play by Steve Walker here. One-hand pass. Dan Kessel's got half the net. Kevin Weeks comes across, just takes it away. Bad giveaway here. Keith Aldridge breaks away. Got a semi-breakaway, goes to his backhand. Not a problem. Kevin Weeks just solid. He is everything we said he is. Unfortunately, he's everything that we said he is.
He's got what the scouts like to look for in a goaltender as much as any other player, and that's good lateral movement. He showed it on the save he made on Kessa. Originally a second-round pick in 1993 by the Florida Panthers, who have not given up the ship on Kevin Weeks.
No, for sure. He's a world-class soccer player as well. Just a great athlete.
Shaw will wrap it around into the Fort Wayne zone. Paradise keeps it deep. Nemeth to the back wall after it. Back to Paradise, who knocks it down. Bounces to the far circle, and Davidson gets it out in a hurry. Konstantin Shafronov across the Detroit line for Bashkirov. Drop pass between the legs to Davidson. Knocked off his stick by Shaw. Will chop it back into the Fort Wayne zone. Ed Campbell on it there. Moves it ahead, and this is Bashkirov. Through center ice, his pass misses everybody. In fact, just barely missing the linesman on the near side, and as Shaw gets to it, it's an icing call. Shaw, a +5 in his last 6 games. A big addition to the Detroit lineup, coming back last night in Grand Rapids, and admitted to me before the game last night at the Van Andel Arena. He said, if we had 6 healthy defensemen, I wouldn't play yet. He still has some stitches in that left knee that he cut in a freak injury accident with his own right skate.
Well, they figured he was going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. He's been out a week. But the lack of bodies, if you have a chance to play, you're going to be in the lineup. And believe me, the way he was playing before he got hurt, he was just on a roll. Playing his best hockey of the year and maybe the best hockey of his career. So he is a key addition back in the lineup again.
First to take the draw against Batherson. It goes off the skate of Bezo to the boards, and the Komets able to clear. Knocked down by Gruden. Back come the K's. Curry into the Detroit zone, but the puck to Bobby J, who will play it up the glass, off the linesman and out. That linesman on the near side has been hit, I think, 3 times tonight by the puck already. We've played 12 minutes.
You might want to shift the positioning there.
Yeah, get some more gear on. Jay will start it out of the Detroit zone, ahead for Hirsch. Hits the red line and dumps a knuckleball right on net that Weeks has to be careful with, particularly with Bezo on the doorstep. And he'll hold on to it. A 6'1", 192-pounder. Kevin Weeks can cover a lot of net.
Well, I mean, without question, he's the goaltending future in Florida. Number one is Van Beesbroek is a free agent this year without compensation, so I don't know if he's going to be there. And if he's not there, there's your guy.
Kind of like the helmet.
Pretty good.
A lot of palm trees in Fort Wayne. Oh, that's for the Florida connection.
It's amazing how quick you are. You can't fool you for a minute.
Well, 5 years in this league, I figured out real quick there were no palm trees in Fort Wayne.
I like goaltenders are so confident they wear their NHL masks. Like, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to be back there in a hurry.
Face off to the left of Kevin Weeks in the Fort Wayne zone. 6:50 to go in the first. 1-0 Komets. Kessa takes the draw, wins it to Aldridge. He winds up in a blocker save as that one got through.
They're going to have to get some bodies in front of Weeks, so they're going to score on him.
Puck flip back to the Detroit line. Aldridge on it there. Keith Aldridge had a 2-game scoring streak. Snapped as he was held off the score sheet last night in Grand Rapids. Had a goal and an assist in his 2 games prior. Curry busts into the Detroit zone. Wide on right wing. Aldridge picks him up and takes him in behind the net. Good job by Keith Aldridge on the much larger Dan Curry. Kessa to the corner. Works it up the wall. Beddoes digs it out to the line. Walby will hold it in. Jason Mansoff gloves it down and skates to an opening. Now cross ice for Walker into the Fort Wayne zone with Kessa. Kessa throws it in front of the net. That one hit Dupuis and is dug out from underneath him by Batherson. Good job by Dupuis, but he almost left the puck right on his own doorstep. Now the Komets will ice it. Back to touch up is Brad Shaw.
That was kind of a funny play for the defenseman. Dan Kessa went wide. Both his wingers went to the net, and the defenseman didn't know which one to pick up. Shot on net, rebound was sitting there, and Steve Walker just couldn't get a stick on it. That line has been a real good line, and well, Kessa and Walker playing together, and whoever they plugged in on the other side played consistently well the last 3 weeks. And that was a line that never been together. Those Kessa and Walker never played together before.
Last night's game marking the halfway mark of the season, 41 games through. And Detroit amazingly a point ahead of last year's pace.
Which was a record-setting pace in of itself.
At least a point ahead of where they were last year at that point in time. Not necessarily on a pace to eclipse the 122 points they had a year ago, but 58 points at the halfway mark. And Detroit is still in that neighborhood, and that's a high-rent neighborhood. Around 120 points in a season.
Well, there's only been one other team that's done it.
Detroit making a bid to become the first team in IHL history as the puck goes into Steve Ludzik's bench to have 4 consecutive 100-point seasons. And they are well on their way right now.
I'd say they're over the average as we speak.
First in the Eastern Conference overall, and only 4 points behind the Chicago Wolves, who are first overall in the IHL. Both teams having played 41 games. The Wolves with 62 points atop the Western Conference.
Bawa and Bezo talking to each other, and here we go.
The gloves drop, and the linesman bravely steps in. This will probably be worth a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, if nothing else.
These guys used to be teammates. You're probably asking how his wife and kids are, and how things are going. How's the dog?
I think Dan O'Halloran may be handing out misconducts here.
Well, we know one guy's going.
Bauer's gone. 5:28 to go in the period, so that would mean he's either gotten an excess.
Well, Andy Beazle didn't drop the gloves. Robin Bawa did. He didn't drop the gloves, and I think Robin Bawa might have just got sucked in there.
Yeah, I think he got a 10-minute misconduct, and that's it. And so Bawa will...
You just see they're talking to each other and looking at each other. All of a sudden, Bawa will say, well, let's go. And Andy Beazle going, you're really stupid. You dropped your gloves first. We'll see you later.
So much for that matchup for the next 10 minutes anyway, and that's going to make it difficult for John Torchetti. That's the matchup, as you mentioned, that he wanted. Puck driven into the Detroit zone on goal. Mezin plays it to the far side. Gruden feeds it ahead. Bezo still in the game. Will dump it into the Fort Wayne zone. Goes around Brunilla and behind the Fort Wayne net. Hirsch knocks it down along the near boards. Campbell gets back to it and will clear over Hirsch's outstretched glove. The length of the ice. Apparently Hirsch got a piece of it.
I'll tell you what, it's not the matchup it's the matchup that Torchetti wanted. It's the matchup that I said to watch for, but it's really the matchup that the Fort Wayne players wanted. That's the most important thing.
Now somebody else has to do it. Bobby J through center, feeds it ahead into the Fort Wayne zone. Tripped up was Bezo, but he got it to Hirsch. His centering pass picked off by Boganecki, who came back. Bezo was flying in after Ian Boyce, and he's going to get an elbowing penalty. He just missed him, but the flying forearm shiver was seen by Dan O'Haller, and Detroit will be short a man when we come back, down 1-0. This is Viper Hockey.
Post office, there'd be a way to send paperwork and merchandise overseas that gets attention. Something that says openly, I'm important. But it's got to save money, real money, and go to all key markets. Plus it would have value, be reliable, and fast.
Global Priority Mail. It's happening at your U.S. Postal Service. We deliver.
Andy Bezo just did a great thing in sucking Robin Bauer into 10-minute misconduct, and he took a run that Ian Boyce and just got his elbow up a little bit. Here he comes after him, sees him going to be in a position against the boards to finish him off, dumps him, and he caught him good. Ian Boyce now looking, he knows he's been hit.
In the meantime, the Komets with their second power play of the game, and they have connected for the game's only goal on the power play thus far. They were 0 for 5 in the previous meeting this season against Detroit with the extra man, but changed that quickly on the goal by Armstrong.
Well, and Bauer was a big part of their power play. He's the guy they put in front of the net, and he's out.
Kesso will send it back into the Fort Wayne zone. Detroit did score a shorthanded goal against the Komets in their 6-4 win back on the 15th of November at Fort Wayne. Here's Konstantin Shafronov, wide on right wing into the Detroit zone, drops it to the line. Pederson's blast blocked on the way and sent right up the middle as Walker. Can he split the defense? He does, but he can't get all the way behind him, and Weeks blockers it away as it rolls harmlessly on net.
Pretty good defenseman, skating defenseman Tom Pederson there. With any other defense, he might have had a real good shot at it.
Pederson, not the biggest defenseman in the world by any stretch, but he does make up for it with his skating ability. Wrapped around the boards, held in at the right point, fired back to the front of the Detroit net. Bobby J on the backhand will serve up a souvenir. And 56 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bezo. 3:35 to go here in the opening period.
Bobby J leading the Vipers in plus minus. If he could ever stay healthy for a period of time, he's been battling injuries all year.
Coming up later this month, in fact next Friday, Wayne Newton live and in concert at the Palace, just one of a number of shows coming up this winter season. Yanni on February the 4th and Eddie Money on the 16th. Stop by your nearest Ticketmaster location or call the Palace box office for ticket information. Face off rim of the circle to the left of Mezin in the Detroit zone, won by Fort Wayne. Armstrong gets it from Dupuis and sends it to the right side for Curry. That missed him. Batherson swings it back up the boards. Armstrong will hold it in. Curry has Stefan Walby at the front of the net, but Carson came over and picked him up. Now they muck forward in the corner. Batherson with it. Curry got it to the line. Across to Dupuis. Tried a one-timer. That was blocked by Carson. Back up the boards it comes. Dupuis sends it across. Beddoes will get on at first, and he will clear into the Detroit bench.
He's mad at himself for that. He had lots of time to go along with the puck, and inadvertently shot it right into his own bench, so we're going to have the face-off right inside the blue line again.
The bench has not been a safe place to be if you're a Viper. Last night in Grand Rapids, Jimmy Carson got smoked on the bench. Luckily, right where the visor meets the helmet on the left side of his head, as Andy Bezo was trying to clear the Detroit zone with Ian Herbers suffering from an injury, and Carson was nearly knocked out on the bench and had to leave with about 3 minutes left in the first period. Fortunately, he was able to return, and the way things have been going for this hockey club, Dave, you're not even safe on the ice.
You're not safe at the bench, you're not safe on the ice. You know, they might not even be safe in the dressing room. They run into a bad stretch, and these things happen in hockey, and it's how you handle those bad stretches, and they've handled them very well.
Batherson got it to the front of the net. Fanning on it was Walby as it was bouncing on him a bit. The penalty to Bezo is over. His on the box. The Vipers full strength as Herbers pulls one out of the fray at the side of the net. Clears. Bezo, he was onside, and the linesman called him off offside.
I think he touched up, and I do think he was
did
onside.
touch up. He was onside. I saw him come out of the box. He was racing to rejoin the play, and Steve Ludzik, I think, concurs with you and I.
Kind of a look of disbelief on his face there as he watched him come out, because he did. He came right out of the box, touched up, and then he picked up the loose puck.
He was racing back because the play was still in the Detroit zone to help out with the penalty kill just as he got out of the box.
And I did a linesman break here. Bezo came out behind his back. Here's Fort Wayne's chance here. Down low, tries to pull it out and go in front of the net. Dan Curry, Bradshaw, nice job by Under Mezin there holding his ground. And the puck was cleared after that. Dan Curry's a big body in front of that net.
Now, did Bezo have to touch up the blue line?
Nope.
Because when he comes out of the box, Dave, he's already touched up because he's on the right side of center ice. That was a call that Steve Ludzik, I'm sure, would like to have clarified. Campbell for Fort Wayne at his own blue line. Just over 2 to go in the first. The Komets now 1 of 2 on the power play.
Now, after Andy Bezo's last shootout performance, I'm not guaranteeing he would have scored.
Well,
but he would have had a good scoring chance.
He created an opportunity with the speed he has. He had gotten behind the Fort Wayne defender. 1-0 Komets. Campbell along the near boards, feeds it ahead at center. Backhanded into the Detroit zone off of Aldridge. Jason Mansoff, the rookie out of the University of Maine, takes a look around. Draws the defense and sends it ahead for Bezo, who dropped it to Carson. Center of the ice, Banks jumps on it. Has Aldridge. Penalty coming up behind the plate of Fort Wayne, and Detroit will go on the power play as Carson is slow to get up right in front of the Detroit bench, and he got hit hard. His stick sent flying on the hit. He's in pain.
2 days and 2 nights in a row. Last night he gets hit by his own guy. Tonight he gets hit by the other guy. This has been a tough week. He's going to look forward to that 5-6 days off.
I think he got the wind knocked out of him from the looks of things.
Little touch pass here. Never sees him coming. Lee Hamilton.
That's a dangerous hit. Eric Boganecki, the rookie.
The rookie that hit him.
Boganecki, rookie out of the University of New Hampshire, who ironically was a teammate of Tim Murray, the Viper defenseman who's out tonight with a knee injury. Called up from Dayton to the ECHL, and he spun Carson around, and he hit his back pretty hard on the boards in front of the Detroit bench.
You don't see that penalty called very much anymore, boarding, but if you're ever going to call it, that was the time. He looks like he's okay. He just looks like he got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, he's checking that back out, trying to bend a little bit as well. So Detroit's first power play of the game, brought to you by Sea-Doo Watercraft. Everybody's doing it at Anderson Sales in Bloomfield Hill.
Eric Boganecki is a fire plug. He's 5'8", 199 pounds.
High pressure from Fort Wayne up high on the Detroit power play. Backdoor play. Kessa intended for Aldridge, broken up. And back on the Komets shorthanded. Ian Boyce into the Detroit zone, drops it off the boards. Batherson tried to get it back to him. That was broken up, but Kessa will circle the net with it.
Nice recovery there by Keith Aldridge.
Kessa through center will just feather it into the zone. Had it knocked down. It bounces back to Walker. Boyce gets the handle and backhands it. 1.5 minutes to go on the power play. Just a minute now remaining in the opening period. 1-0 Fort Wayne. Aldridge leaves it for Gruden through center. Stick handles to the opening and finds Kessa at the line. Couldn't quite get the handle on it. It had knocked away, and Nemeth will drive it the length of the sheet. 45 seconds to go in the period as Mezin plays it back ahead for Gruden. With speed from out of the Detroit zone. John Gruden pulls up, feeds it ahead on left wing. That was behind Thomas, goes in behind the Fort Wayne net. Thomas working for it there. Nemeth jams it free. Shaw steps off the point. He and Davidson arrive at the puck at the same time along the near wall. Over comes Thomas to try to dig it free, but it's chipped out. Good bit of work by Lee Davidson there. And down now to just 20 seconds to go in the opening period. Perhaps time for one last rush on the Detroit power play. Kessa saucered it through, but it went off the stick of Felsner, and Boyce sends it deep into the Detroit zone. Final 10 seconds now of the opening period.
Good kill by Fort Wayne. They're playing very, very smart, not letting Detroit get the zone.
Shaw will drive it long on net. Weeks handles it there, throws it back out to center ice, and that's going to do it for the period. When the second period begins, Detroit will carry 23 seconds of power play time over. That remains in the boarding call on Eric Boganecki. Andre Mezin gave up just 1 goal in the period, and it's the only one scored. It came at 7:13. Chris Armstrong on the Fort Wayne power play with his 4th of the year from Tom Pederson and Norm Batherson. 1-0 Komets after 1. This is Viper Hockey.
Face-offs dead even. Penalties, Fort Wayne had 2 power plays, converted on one of them, and we're right at the end of Detroit's first power play.
In fact, 23 seconds remains as the puck is dropped in the second period underway, and Armstrong, who has the game's only goal, rifles at the length of the ice, and that'll milk a great deal of the remaining time on the Detroit man advantage. Shaw back to get it now, just 10 seconds left in the power play. Brings it to center and sends it in. Around and behind Kevin Weeks, who comes out to play it. Fires it past Beddoes to the point. Shaw holds it in. Now on the half wall for Kessa. He'll wind up and drive it wide short side. The penalty is over, and the puck will come all the way out center ice. Komets onside. 2-on-2. Batherson and Boyce. Boyce score! That was a big-time shot as he ripped it over the outstretched glove of Mezin. It's 2-0.
John Gruden got caught here when the puck was shot by Dan Kessa coming around the boards. It missed the net and went too hard. He got pinched in, and just as he pinched in, penalty expired. Boyce hopped out of the box, and away they went. It was a 3-on-1 here. He picks off John Gruden, but he still recovers. Great skater. Top of the circle, offhand side, and just beats Andre Mezin to the top corner. Great shot. Great shot. It's a huge advantage for a shooter coming down the off wing like that. He's got the whole net to work with, and he doesn't hesitate. He lets it go right over the glove hand, top corner. There's nothing the goaltender's going to do about that one.
Boyce, in his 6th year as a Fort Wayne Comet, makes it 2-0. 6 of his 8 years pro have been spent in Fort Wayne, and he came back to join the Komets this year and changed. He had worn the number 8 for 5 years and said, it's time for a fresh start, and he went to the number 10. Detroit offside as they bring it back in to the Fort Wayne zone off the draw. He still wears the A as an alternate captain. Boyce spent some time with San Francisco a couple years ago in the IHL and also with Kansas City.
I've talked about this before in another broadcast about the importance of shooting short side in the power play, because you miss the net almost every single time it's going to go out of the zone, and you're doing the penalty killer's job for them. You got to either hit the goaltender and go for the rebound, or go short side, so it's going to come right back to you. You take that long side shot and miss, it's down the ice and you're starting all over again, and that's exactly what happened in that play.
Well, Kessa's shot actually just came from such a sharp angle. He did miss on the short side, but it was a sharp angle, just spun the puck outside of the zone. From off the right boards, and the play that may have made the play as Fort Wayne sends it back into the Detroit zone off the draw was Boganecki coming out of the zone. You mentioned the little pick he made on Gruden, who was trying to come back and join the play, and he never got back into it. Bashkirov in the Detroit zone, sends it down low. Shaw spins his man around, took him down, centered in front for Bashkirov. It comes right to Davidson. His shot is blocked. Good job by Shaw, who came back to the front of the net. Centering pass picked off, and here comes Thomas the other way with Felsner. Across the line on left wing. Felsner tees one up on a kick saved by Weeks. Felsner sneaks below the goal line, got it back, tried to wrap it around, and another save by Weeks. To the line, Herbers will hold it in, and Davidson will fire at the length of the ice. Bobby J touches up, and icing will be the call. Denny Felsner with a good shift that time, and a couple of chances.
Talented player, one of the most talented players I ever coached. And he's been a mystery as a pro hockey player, because I'll tell you what, he has got talent up the yin-yang. You see here, steps out front, lets it go, just about sneaks it in the short side, and Kevin Weeks. Strong, powerful player, great skater, great hands. Nice save again by Kevin Weeks. Just acrobatic. He is so quick on his feet.
Great save when you consider he was actually trying to make the poke check, and he had fanned on that.
The second all-time leading scorer in the history of Michigan hockey, Denny Felsner. Just recently passed by Brendan Morrison.
Joined the club yesterday in Grand Rapids. He met them in the lobby of the hotel in Grand Rapids. Off the draw, Gruden from the point moves it to the middle. His shot deflected. And to the corner, Hirsch goes after it. Batherson leaning all over him, and he digs it free. Now turns it over to Paradise in the slot, who can't pull the trigger. Back come the Komets on top, 2-0. Curry swings it ahead on left wing. Batherson blasts one, and Mezin came out to make the save. That's a huge save by Andre Mezin there. He's got to make those saves for a while, at least until Detroit can at least put this to a one-goal game.
Well, they've only had, Fort Wayne's only had 6 shots in net, and they've got a 2-goal lead. But it's good. It's a great save for Andre Mezin, too. I'm sure he's thinking, I've only had 2 good scoring chances against me. I've let them both in.
Komets through center into the Detroit zone again. On right wing, Eric Bolton pulls up, loses the handle. Had a man coming down the slot. That was Boyce, but couldn't get it to him as Gruden came over. Kessa puts the body on Boyce. It's jammed to the corner. Bobby J after it there. Boganecki takes it away from him and kicks it along the base of the dasher. Back for Bolton, who jams it back down low. This is just a lunch pail shift right now. Boganecki has Gruden all over him as he brings it out to the line. Armstrong shot redirected by Bolton. It's underneath Bobby J, who went down to block it, and he moves it ahead for Banks, who pokes it through center. Darren Banks trying to go through 3 different Comet defenders.
Just about did.
And the helmet that was on the ice that may have been the only thing that stopped it. Guy Dupuis able to play it away. Back come the Comets. Batherson feeds it right on net. Mezin steers it to the corner. Curry just cycles it along the end boards. There is gear all over the ice. There's a stick in the Detroit zone. There's a helmet in the Fort Wayne zone. The puck behind the Detroit net. Walby trying to bring it out in front. Fed it to Curry. His one-timer was blocked. Good play by Aldridge, and now Walker jumps on it.
You could outfit
center with Thomas.
You could outfit yourself just with the step lying on the ice.
Aldridge got a backhander away, and Weeks had to make a good save on that. He's got it again out of the corner. Fed it across. Beto scores!
Lake State guy to Lake State guy. What a great play by Keith Aldridge.
Can you tell they played together before?
Oh, no kidding. Right on his tape. No hesitation from Clayton Beddoes. He rifled this top corner. And the way Kevin Weeks is playing tonight, that's about the only way you're going to beat him. What a great shot. Great play by Aldridge. Head up. Great shot by Clayton Beddoes. Gets Vipers right back in this hockey game.
And I don't care how acrobatic you are, that's one you're probably not going to save.
But look and watch him hold on to the puck. Patient. Look right in front, and it was gone. And Kevin Weeks has got a great glove hand, but you're not going to get in that. And he's looking at his defenseman going, how can that guy be that open and get that kind of shot? What a nice pass. Boom, gone, top corner.
For Beddoes, his second in as many games since returning from the sprained knee that cost him 13 games. It's his 10th of the year. Aldridge and Thomas will get the assists, and Keith Aldridge now with 3 points in his last 4 games.
I'll tell you, one of the things that happens when a team's playing well, a guy comes back in the lineup. You don't come back in the lineup with kind of a halfway effort. You come back and you know you got to play well because guys are out there taking your job.
With that in mind, Thomas has picked up a goal and an assist in his last 2 games as well. And he's in on the dump, fires it in front for Felsner, just kicked away by Weeks, who got there. If he doesn't, Felsner has a redirect.
Oh, geez, 2-on-1.
Boganecki has Bashkirov with him, and he just flat misfired on it. That went off the heel of his stick. From behind the net, centered and picked off. Vipers have numbers if they hurry. Here's Felsner. Beddoes will join him. 2-on-1 into the zone. Felsner for Beddoes again, and that went off the heel of his stick.
And he misfired.
Up and down we go. Suddenly pond hockey. Bashkirov without a helmet into the Detroit zone. Rolls it on net, and Mezin will play it away. A penalty coming up to Detroit as Bashkirov was spilled on the play. Roughing on Bobby J will give the Comets the power play when we come back. This is Viper Hockey.
Dilbert for Office Depot.
And if I pile enough binders on my chair, I'll have a window view.
I've got to try that.
Wow, I've never seen so much interest in our business plan.
Can I have 2?
Get back to business, as crazy as it is. Get organized at Office Depot and get everything you need to run your business, all in one convenient, easy-to-shop store. Plus, free delivery on any order over $50. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
Geez, this is a big one. You got that right, eh?
Almost thought we lost him there for a minute.
Me too. You know, we should celebrate. How about we hoof it over to Big Buck Brewery and Steakhouse for a bite?
Oh, I can almost taste one of those handcrafted beers right now.
Well, that explains the drooling then.
Big Buck Brewery and Steakhouse, Michigan's premier microbrewery and steakhouse in Auburn Hills at Updike and University.
End-to-end action here, as Dick Irvin used to say. Great pass across, and he flat out missed it on a perfect one-time attempt. Shafronov to Bashkirov. Right back going the other direction. Great outlet pass here by Clayton Beddoes to Denny Felsner. Coming down the offside, freezes the defenseman right on the tape. And Clayton Beddoes flat out missed it.
Right back at you, as Bill Murray said.
Bobby J takes him. Great job. Stands him up, knocks him on his butt, and he's got to get a 2-minute penalty for roughing. Bad call. Bad call. You don't play defense better than that.
The Burlington, Massachusetts native will have a seat, and the Comets will have their 3rd power play. Norm Batherson to take the draw. A 4-year pro with Portland of the American League before coming to join the Comets this season. He fails to win the draw, and Aldridge will wire it around the length of the ice. 2-1. The Komets of Fort Wayne have the lead. Just under 15 to go in an entertaining second period thus far.
Well, you got two highly skilled teams that are both playing at the top of their games, and you can watch them tonight and see why they're undefeated. I mean, just good, great hockey teams.
Pederson threw it away through center. Kessa dumps it again, and now Pederson will try again. For Batherson, dangerous drop pass. Curry just got to it. Wow. John Torchetti's a pretty young guy. In fact, the youngest coach in the IHL, but he won't look like it too much longer if Pederson makes too many passes like that.
I don't give gray hairs to coaches.
Behind the net, Mezin gets a piece of it, leaves it for Gruden. He's got time up the boards, didn't get it through Curry. Curry leaves it for Batherson on the half wall. Komets are set up now. Minute 5 in the power play. Walks in, feeds it across the slot behind Robin Bawa. And up the boards, Walker will feed it ahead. Jumping on it is Kessa. Nice tap pass. He's got help with him. Aldridge back in front for Kessa. Couldn't get a shot away. Bawa came back and just able to knock it away.
Kevin Weeks did not know where the puck. He was just sprawled. He was lying on his back and saying, please, somebody hit me.
Turnover at center, and Shaw just about took Davidson's head off as he ripped it back in. Pederson will start one more time. 35 seconds in the power play. This is Lee Davidson at center. Into the Detroit zone. Sends it to the far boards. Bashkirov with his helmet back now. Swings it along the end boards. Herbers is there. He'll fire it up the boards and out. Near side, the length of the ice, down to 20 seconds left in the penalty to Bobby J.
I'll tell you what, in this game tonight, if you can't skate, you're in trouble.
You can't play.
Because they're flying.
Beddoes breaks one up at the blue line. Back comes Bashkirov into the zone. He has Shafronov to the front of the net. Now feeds it in. They score! Coming right down the slot, it was Davidson. It's 3-1. The Komets making Detroit pay on the power play tonight.
So subtle little turnover the blue line. Had a chance to clear the puck. Didn't get it out. 3-on-1 breaking the other way. Half recovered. Lee Davidson walks right down the middle. Nice little move on Andre Mezin. 3-1.
Shafronov went to the far post, and Bashkirov chose to get the third man. The trailer right down the middle was Davidson.
Almost had it out. Ian Herbers tries to recover. Nice little pass here. Freezes Mezin. Tucks it in the corner.
Stefan Walby will get an assist.
And Lee Davidson's been a solid point producer in this league for 4 or 5 years. You don't give him that type of opportunity, he's going to convert it 9 times out of 10.
So the Komets regain the 2-goal lead as the puck is dumped into the Detroit zone. Mansoff takes the hit from Bolton as he swings it around, and Banks will just ice it. They wave the icing there. And the Komets forced to play it as Weeks stops it behind the net, and now we've got an interference penalty coming up on Weeks. Good call, Dave. Detroit right back on the power play. This is Viper Hockey.
See the world's greatest athletes live at the Palace as the Detroit Pistons look to take the next step in their drive for an NBA championship. Grant Hill and the boys battle the NBA's elite in this year's War on the Floor, and you can be there to witness all the action. Don't forget to check your Detroit newspapers for family night listings. 4 tickets, 4 dogs, 4 pops, a tub of corn, and 2 Pistons t-shirts, all for just $69. Tickets on sale at the Palace box office and all Ticketmaster centers, or just call for more information.
Luxor, the total package from $49. Luxury rooms, free spa. Free Pharaoh's Feast buffet. $35 shopping discounts. Call 800-288-1000.
We're going to see the penalty here, and this is one of the things I feel strongly about. Goaltenders want protection. Goes to his net. Andy Bezos coming in, and watch Kevin Weeks. Just his stick out of the way here. I think that should be called more often. If you want the protection of being in your crease and stay in your crease, you want to get out there. Ron Hextall was the one that started this, and it's a trend that I hate. And you wonder why goaltenders get run every once in a while when you pull that kind of stuff.
Well, Bezo lost his stick on the play, but he could have lost his stick in the netting as well, and a lot of things could have happened there. Viper's second power play of the game. They're 0 for 1. This power play brought to you by Sea-Doo Watercraft. Everybody's doing it at Anderson Sales in Bloomfield Hill. Vipers set up with the extra man on the near hash mark. This is Dan Kessa to the line for Gruden. He'll hold it, throw it towards the net, and just redirected wide as Thomas was parked in front, and it's cleared.
The way Fort Wayne's playing this, they're playing a straight-up box and punching down low. You're not going to be able to generate anything down low. It's got to go back to the point, and got to go back to the point. Guys going to the net and look for deflections and rebounds.
Thomas with speed drops it for Kessa into the zone. Got a shot away, but that was blocked. Now he'll swing it around the boards for Gruden left point. He holds it in for Walker on the half wall. Minute 15 to go on the power play. He's got a man open at the line. It's Aldridge. Quick puck movement back to Gruden.
Right,
throws it towards the net. Redirected. Thomas again got a piece of it, but he missed the net. Kessa hard into the corner. Just knocks Pederson out of the play. Thomas digs it to the line for Aldridge. He winds up and misses everything. He was looking for a deflection from Walker. Puck chopped up the boards and out. Aldridge will have to drag it back through center. Quickly ahead for Kessa with Thomas across the line. Thomas plays it ahead. Campbell will get to it. And he cleared it up the boards, and then Pederson got a second chance to ice it. 40 seconds now left in the Detroit power play as Mezin stops it there. Gruden up the near side, has to peel back away, and now leaves it for Shaw. Ahead to Gruden. On left wing for Denny Felsner. Cross ice, Beddoes with speed into the zone to the corner. Pulls it in behind the net. Clayton Beddoes reverses it back for Banks below the goal line. For Beddoes on the near hash mark. Detroit set up 20 seconds in the power play. Back to the line. Gruden winds up. That may have hit 3 different men on the way, and it didn't hit the back of the net, but it counts as if it ripped the net right off.
When you play that style of penalty killing, you're leaving the points open. And the point man, John Gruden, saw that 4 times in that power play. Got the puck through. The last one was successful, but that's exactly the way they beat that power play. Throw it back to the point, get the puck through on the net. You're going to have numbers down low when you're playing crunching down low like that. Good shot by John Gruden. Clayton Beddoes gets it back to him, steps in, waits for traffic in front, gets it through. It hits, yeah, you're right, it hit about 4 people. Just got through it, and that doesn't matter how hard. Cross that goal line, that's all that matters.
That hit the Comet defenseman's skate right in front. Banks was running the screen.
And you can see the puck spinning, and all you can read is CCM, 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 but it still gets across the line.
Felsner was there to tap it in just in case. Gruden's goal comes from Banks and Beddoes on fire. 3 points in the 2 games since he's come back. It's 3-2 for Banks, his first point in 9 games. And it's 3-2, once again, a 1-goal game.
The way these power plays are operating, both teams are going to have to stay out of the penalty box.
Well, last night I jokingly said, looking at the numbers going into the game at Grand Rapids, 2 teams that hadn't been generating much. I said first 1 to 2 wins. Tonight it might be first 1 to 5. And of course Detroit did get to 2 first and eventually won 4-2. Here's Boganecki into the Detroit zone. To the high slot on the backhand. Now leaves it for Campbell. His shot blocked by Jimmy Carson to the corner. First we've seen of Carson since that hard collision late in the first into the boards in front of the Detroit bench. Boganecki back to get it in his own zone. Now turns on the Jets up the left side. Bezo runs him into the boards in front of the Comet bench. You called him a fire plug. Now a penalty coming up as Paradise came over, and as Boganecki got back up, he rode him back into the boards, and this will be our second boarding call of the game. Coming right at the halfway mark of the hockey game, 9:58 of the second.
Well, Andy Bezo is just happy to see somebody who's shorter than he is. Eric Boganecki's 5'8", Andy's 5'9", but took him in the boards hard. Eric Boganecki has played very well for Fort Wayne tonight, but he's hard to knock off the puck. He's got such a low center of gravity, but in that one he knocks him behind. This is Andy Bezo. Oh, from the bench. Robin Powell is grabbing his jersey from the bench just to make sure nothing else is going to happen. This is a good check. This is the bad check. From behind into the boards. 2-minute good call. You want to be physical, but you got to be smart physical. And especially the way these power plays are running tonight, as we just said, 2 for 3 tonight, 4 shots in net. You got to stay out of the penalty box.
So the Komets 2 of 3 on the power play tonight start for the 4th time within the Detroit zone, and Davidson moves it across. Guy Dupuis shovels it back, and Bashkirov tried to redirect. It's knocked out of midair and then driven by Dupuis wide of everything.
Same as we talked about the other end. They did it themselves. Wide of the net, came right around and out. Did the job for the Vipers.
Right back into the Detroit zone. This is Lee Davidson, top of the left wing circle. Half a minute gone and the penalty to Paradise. 3-2, Fort Wayne, 9.5 to go. Second period as Davidson circles high in the zone, gets a bit of a pick, and now sends it back to the line. Armstrong across for Dupuis in the left wing circle. Back to Armstrong. He'll wind up. That was blocked, knocked out of midair by Herbers, and they're going to say played by a high stick as it came back to Beddoes. And 1:09 left in the penalty to Dave Paradise.
Good break for the Vipers there. It was a high stick, but that's a smart high stick. They needed a change. They already had 50 seconds on the kill. And it looked like Clayton Beddoes has lost an edge. He's heading to the dressing room. But Ian Herbers is amazing that he's played tonight. They had to slit him open. One of his fingers last night. It blew up like a balloon. And I thought it would really affect his puck handling and shooting. And not that they're that refined to begin with, but he's done well tonight. You don't even notice it.
Yeah, they had to scalpel his ring finger on his left hand because of all the blood buildup and drain it during the game. In fact, it was his injury, as Campbell's drive is deflected just wide. It was his injury that Bezo was trying to clear the puck for late in the first period when he struck Jimmy Carson on the Detroit bench. He told me afterwards, Herbers did, that he was yelling at Andy to get the puck out, just get it out, I need to get off. And as Bezo turned and fired from within his own defensive zone, he ripped it into the Detroit bench, inadvertently hitting Carson.
Just about killed him. There was little, and Steve Ludzik explaining to Jimmy Carson, there was a little mess up about who was responsible up top. Way too much time. Shoot the puck. Deflection here, just misses the far post.
Hit Gruden on the way and almost went in the Detroit net. 52 seconds left in the power play.
That was a lot closer in the replay than we thought it was from up here.
Fort Wayne wins the draw. Campbell, one-timer just wide as Bobby J went down in front of that one. He wasn't all that close to it. Campbell again looking to the far post, trying to find Batherson. Bolton will keep it alive down low. Curry sends it to the line. Campbell swings it around the end boards. Bauer will get there. Half a minute to go in the Fort Wayne power play. Now turned over in Kessa, trying to create shorthanded. If he could have gotten around Pederson, he was 2-on-1 with Carson, but he was able to clear. Sent right back in. Gruden will get on it. Whisks it around near side. Campbell knocks it away for Carson. Now he is 2-on-1 with Kessa. Jimmy Carson in. Shot. Save. Weeks of the rebound. Just knocked off of Kessa's stick, and a slashing penalty coming up to Fort Wayne with 10 seconds left in Paradise's penalty that'll even things up for that period of time. And then Detroit will go on the power play.
Jimmy Carson coming down his off wing, tried to do exactly the same thing as Ian Boyce coming down his off wing, and the second goal for Fort Wayne. Misses it here. Here's the slash. He knows it's a 2-on-1. Jimmy Carson just ignores it. Goes down on the offside, gets to the top of the circle. Great positioning by Kevin Weeks. And Tom Pederson actually bats the puck right out of the air here to clear it out, where Dan Kessa was jumping on the rebound.
So in 10 seconds, Detroit will go to the power play as Campbell goes off for the slash, and he got his money's worth.
Oh, he might have felled a tree with that one. I'll tell you what, Jimmy Carson, the slash is not going to bother him. When he's got that aisle, the aisle to the goal, like he's got there. Goal scorers' eyes light up when they see that open ice.
Dan O'Halloran was very animated with his slashing call as well. Banks wins the draw, 4-on-4. Shaw with a high drive, juggled and gloved by Kevin Weeks. Detroit with a 19-9 shot advantage, down 3-2 midway through the game. This is Viper Hockey.
Here's an update on our top story. Police now confirm the Bud Ice Penguin has been captured. Authorities say it is now safe to serve Bud Ice. That's right, just bring it all out in the open there. Nothing to worry about, everything's fine. And now, back to the music.
Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins.
Steve Ludzik about to watch his team go on the power play in 5 more seconds. He'll have 1:50 with the extra man. Down 3-2, just over 8 to go in the middle period. Detroit has never led in this one. Twice down a pair. Off the draw, Fort Wayne wins it. Armstrong does clear. Paradise out of the Detroit box, and the Vipers now on the power play. This power play brought to you by Sea-Doo Watercraft. Everybody's doing it at Anderson Sales in Bloomfield Hills. Gruden's pass through center is ruled a two-liner as Kessa receives it, and the face-off will come back inside the Detroit blue line. John Gruden, the number 4 leading scoring defenseman coming into tonight in the IHL with 31 points. Got his 7th goal of the season on Detroit's last power play. Gruden, the only Viper who has played in all 42 games to date, has now 5 this season of his 7 on the power play. And you take a look at how he compares against the rest of the best in the IHL.
He's just having a heck of a year, especially last month. And he's one of those guys, the more you play him, the better he plays. And with all the injuries in defense, he's played more and more and continued to play better and better.
Down to 7:41 to go. The Virginia-Minnesota native, John Gruden, now makes his home here in the Detroit area. Played at Ferris State. Good friends with Denny Felsner, who joined the Vipers 2 games ago, yesterday in Grand Rapids, and was the first to greet him when he came into the lobby at the hotel.
Well, they play together in the summer, and they spent a lot of years in Ferris and Michigan playing against each other and saw a lot of each other. And they've all settled around the Ann Arbor area and all play together all summer.
Gruden does a nice job off the draw from just inside the blue line to keep it in the zone, and the Vipers send it around. Kessa near side for Carson, off his stick though, and it'll come out center. Detroit finally able to put some personnel together on the power play that they were accustomed to seeing earlier in the season. They have Kessa, Walker, and Carson up front. Gruden and Shaw at the points defensively. Walker just tries to stuff it in, and Weeks got that off the pad to the near side. Kessa to the line for Gruden. They'll play catch. Overloading the left side of the zone. Down low on the goal line. This is Carson. He'll trade places with Kessa. Jimmy brings it up the half wall, moves it to the middle of the ice across. Gruden's one-timer, blocked down the way, poked free for a moment, and then swept away on a good play by Lee Davidson.
Well, we're trying to do the same thing they did the last power play that was successful. Get it back to the point and get it through.
That shot from the middle of the ice at the blue line worked for Gruden last time. Here's a turnover at center. Aldridge gets a piece of it, but still on it is Pederson, trying to get an angle on Aldridge. A couple of speedy defensemen without a ton of size, and Aldridge wins the battle on the end boards. Vipers with 25 seconds left on the power play, back the other way. Kessa wide on right wing, will take it all the way behind the net, feeds it around the boards. Carson comes over. Batherson tries to send it around him. It's still underneath the 2 of them. Kessa comes over. Now Carson jams at it. Got it to Kessa. Oh, nearly snuck it to Walker coming off the boards. Intercepted and iced. That'll do it for the Detroit power play. Campbell will come out of the box as Herbers comes back to get it, and the Komets are now full strength. 1 of 3 on the power play for Detroit now as Aldridge brings it into the Fort Wayne zone. Stood up along the boards. Dupuis got rocked by Banks down low, but not till after he outletted the puck away, and another finish check. This one by Paradise, forces an ice by Boganecki. Boganecki and Paradise colliding for a second time in this second period. And Clayton Beddoes returning to the Detroit ice after having a skate adjustment. Anytime anybody leaves the ice for Detroit anymore these days, you hold your breath.
Here's Darren Banks, and he's going to finish him. Could have been called for that one. Might have been a check from behind.
Guy Dupuis, the longtime Comet, one of 4 Fort Wayne players this season who has played in all 38 of the club's games. Takes too many more hits like that, he won't be in that select group.
That streak will end in a hurry. Yeah, he's sitting on the bench going, ooh, that guy's a big guy.
Dupuis has been a big part of any success Fort Wayne's had in the last few years. He is a +7 this year, but last year on a team that failed to make the playoffs and had a number of players that were in excess of -20, he was a +12.
That's incredible when you see that kind of disparity on one team.
Komets break out of their own zone, 3-on-2 through center. The return pass for Nemeth from Bashkirov went right through him, and as Detroit brings it back into the Fort Wayne zone, they are offside.
Detroit's got to be careful. Fort Wayne the same way. These 2 teams are so good on the transition game. If you lose a guy in the middle of the ice, you lose your check and the puck's turned over, they're gone, and they're gone in a no-man situation, a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1. That's how the scoring chances have been generated. You got to be responsible in the neutral zone. You make sure your team has the puck 100% before you're deciding to go the other direction.
Skilled with speed will do that to you, won't it?
defenseman's nightmare.
Here's Shaw picking one off at center and moving it down right wing. Thomas fanned on the shot, got it back though as he's from behind the net, tried to wrap it around right into the crease, one off the stick of Weeks, and a good job by Felsner to knock it free and keep it alive. Wide to the right wing corner, Felsner still with it, dragging it along the end. Dasher now just trying to get the handle. A penalty coming up to Fort Wayne behind the play. Pederson choosing to dump Carson, and he's going to go off for interference, and the Vipers will go to the power play again, down 3-2 with 5:07 to go here in the middle period.
Well, good play by Denny Felsner. Went after the puck, continued to move his feet. Everybody going for the net. Tom Pederson takes down Jimmy Carson. Another power play for 2 minutes.
Interesting. Pederson a -7 in his last 10 games, but I know you spoke with John Torchetti before the game, and Grant Sonia, the assistant coach. They're not displeased with his play.
No, he's played well. He's been -7, but teams have been winning on a regular basis, and he's a key component. A lot of times when you're playing defense, you can get in situations where you're contributing in outmans. In other words, you're doing a great job killing penalties, a great job in the power play, and you just happen to be on the ice with an even strength goal, and before you know it, all of a sudden you're -3, -4, -5, and that's what's happened to him. Now he's got to take him.
Oh, he slew-footed
at best.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've even been able to do that a couple of times. Viper power play, their fourth, brought to you by Sea-Doo Watercraft. Everybody's doing it at Anderson Sales in Bloomfield Hills. Kessa on the goal line, comes in front.
There it is.
Set it. Weeks doesn't know where it is. And throwing it. Oh, no, I went off the post.
We're going to have to see that again in replay. Our excellent producer, Eric Date, if you can find that one.
Now Kessa below the goal line as the play goes on. Out to the middle of the ice for Shaw. Weeks without his stick as it goes to the end boards. Dupuis would do well to freeze it, but again it comes to Kessa. And Weeks has no chance to get that puck. It's in Kessa's skates. He spins it low for Carson. Carson back to Kessa, Walker to the front of the net. Weeks doesn't have a stick in front for Shaw. Knocked away, still loose. Kessa got a shot away. It's bouncing and fired the length of the ice. Good play defensively by Batherson, who came back, and Weeks goes and gets his stick. A minute to go in the power play.
The only guy left on the ice there was John Cooten, the guy with the puck. Everybody else was gone.
Aldridge from off the Detroit bench ahead for Banks. He mishandles it. Curry fires it right back on Aldridge's stick, and he gives it back to Curry, and offside is Detroit on the play. Boy, that is just some harrowing moments if you're a goaltender.
No stick, and you got
short-handed, and you got no stick.
And 5 guys are around you, and they're all pounding.
He got some good help from his defense. Detroit really unable to get anything through to him.
Watch this chance here, and I'm not so sure. Watch where it goes. It's going to go up top here. Oh,
off the crossbar.
Dan Kessa's had a couple of great chances tonight, and he's been snake bitten. Kind of comes with him. Great save here. Kessa sees the opening up top there right off the crossbar and out.
Thomas and Beddoes collide, but the puck held in the zone as Aldridge fires it off the stick of Banks on the end boards. Reverses it back to Beddoes, now behind the net for Banks.
And Fort Wayne's changed their penalty kill. They're moving everything out much higher now because Detroit's figured out what they're doing.
Aldridge's shot off a skate is cleared as Davidson, unbeknownst, blocked the shot, and it's Mezin with 10 seconds to go in the power play, leaving it for Aldridge. Gruden, rink wide for Beddoes, who directs it into the zone, then had it knocked away, and Boyce will ice it. That'll do it. The penalty to Pederson is over. The Komets are full strength. 3-2, Fort Wayne, 3 minutes to go. Second period, both teams changing. Long lead pass from Gruden, finds Paradise, cutting off of left wing, off the side of the net, as Nemeth took him in behind the net. Bezo has it. Bezo centers, shot! Oh, what a save by Weeks! As Hirsch just one-timed it, I think he got his stick on that.
What a great play by Andy Bezo. Patient with the puck behind the net and found his man right down the middle of the ice.
Bashkirov and Shafronov into the Detroit zone. Shafronov shot wide. Mezin poked it away. Digs it off the end boards. Tried to feed it back. Boganecki was late getting there. To the line, Campbell just fires it deep, and that one kicked to the side of the net where Mezin will scoop it and hold on. 3-2, Fort Wayne. Late in the second, this is Viper Hockey. Tickets, call the Palace, 248-377-0100, or stop by your nearest Ticketmaster location.
Well, we've just been talking a very, very entertaining hockey game tonight. High skill level, great skating, great passes, great chances, and Kevin Weeks is putting on a goaltending show.
3-2, Fort Wayne, 2:20 to go. Second period. Gruden near corner of the Detroit zone, ahead for Felsner, spun around by Walby. Still has the puck underneath him, didn't know it. Batherson puts a shoulder to him. Now Bobby J with it. Wanted to reverse it, but instead goes for Felsner. His pass went off a skate. Thomas hustles after it, didn't get it out. Good hustle by Felsner, who came over to knock it free, and now it's Jimmy Carson. Cross ice for Bobby J, who was joining the rush, but he misses him with the pass. Nemec just throws it through center. Thomas jumps on it and hurries into the Fort Wayne zone. Inside out move. Puck goes to the corner. Pederson rubbed him out. Nemec swings it around. Bobby J hustles over to keep it in. Sends it along the end boards for Thomas, who pushes it near side for Carson. A minute 40 to go in the period. Back out of the corner. This is Thomas. High slot. Tried to feed it to Felsner. Off his stick to the line. Bobby J held it in. Felsner deflected it to the corner. Pederson plays it away from Carson around near side. Batherson gets it out center. With it there is Curry, who will softly dump as Fort Wayne gets a needed change.
Nobody with him.
Banks leaves it behind the net for Bobby J, who looks up at the scoreboard and sees a minute 15 to go in the period. Meadows skates by. He gives it to Gruden, who uses the glass to clear. This one will go all the way back into the Fort Wayne zone. They'll wave the icing. Banks in hard after it, chasing Armstrong. Turns away and dangerously goes across the zone, but finds Davidson on right wing into the Detroit zone. Heading to the net, Boganecki. Drop pass to Dupuis, and a save by Mezin as he one-timed it right on net. Under a minute to go in the period. Dupuis tries to center. Shafronov scored! Mezin never saw it. It's 4-2. He didn't have much of an angle. Dupuis got it through to him. Shafronov had his back to the net. Davey just turned and fired in one motion.
But Andre Mezin was not paying attention here. You got to square up to the shooter. Even if you can't see it, if you're looking at the shooter and your body's square on that type of angle, it's going to hit you. And he ended up looking down the center of the ice instead of looking at the shooter. Shot goes off his shoulder into the net, but he's looking, if you see where his positioning is, he's looking at the center of the ice instead of looking at the shooter. And there it is. All you got to do is square up to the shooter. The puck's going to hit you. That's not a good goal from that angle.
For Shafronov, his 14th of the year, Guy Dupuis will draw the assist, and for the third time tonight, the Komets have a 2-goal lead. And that one hurts inside the final minute of the period as Shaw brings it in. Ahead for Meadows. To the slot, Kessel. One-timer! Oh, and that just kicked away by Weeks.
Dan Kessel is just dying. He could have a hat trick tonight, and he's just getting killed by Kevin Weeks and the crossbar.
The puck back into the Detroit zone. Icing called as the Komets will clear Detroit with a 26-11 shot advantage. Dan Kessel's got to feel like he's got about 20 of them. And Kevin Weeks.
He might have about 20 of them.
Kevin Weeks with a sterling save that time on Kessel's one-timer.
I'll tell you what, goaltenders can get your head shaken, and Kevin Weeks has got Dan Kess's head shaken right now. He's going, what do I have to do to beat this kid?
Tune into Fox Sports again on January the 29th. It's the Vipers and Cleveland Lumberjacks. Catch all the exciting hockey action beginning at 7:30 here live on Fox Sports. Down to 20.4 seconds to go in the period, and this is something that's becoming a much more regular occurrence. Darren Banks to take the draw.
I don't know if he's lost one yet.
Oh, he has been very strong using his strength on him, and he wins this one. Bezo tried to move it to the middle of the ice, instead deflected to Shaw. Near circle, Bezo rips one, that's blocked. And the Komets the other way with 10 seconds in the period. Pass through center, knocked down by Herbers. Batherson had to wait to stay on side as he brings it into the zone. It's poked out center, and that's going to do it for the period. And the Komets have extended their lead. It was 1-0 after one period of play at the Palace. And Kevin Weeks has held the fort well enough for the Komets to build 3 2-goal leads in this one. The first came at the 34-second mark of the second when Boyce unassisted made it 2-0. Just seconds after Detroit power play had expired. Then Meadows for Detroit, his second in as many games at 3:50, made it 2-1 from Aldrich and Thomas. Davidson gave the Komets a 2-goal lead again at 6:49. But the Vipers remaining resilient. A power play goal from John Gruden at 8:56 made it 3-2. And then the goal inside the final minute of play of the second period. At least up until now, the backbreaker. Konstantin Shafronov making it 4-2 as the Komets take that lead to the locker room. This is Viper hockey. And that was with just 50 seconds remaining in the period. The Komets with a 4-2 lead. We'll look at the numbers after 2 coming up in a moment, but right now the third period underway. It's Aldridge and Mansoff back in the Detroit zone, and a pass ahead on left wing knocked away. Back inside the Detroit line, Mansoff just able to get enough of it, and Felsner will hinge it back for Aldridge. Ahead for Thomas, that broken up by Boganecki, who will get it across the line just out of the reach of Shafronov. Keith Aldridge for Detroit, back to get it. Near side, and Mansoff ahead for Thomas again. This time he finds it and sends it deep into the Fort Wayne zone. Around and out, Herbers gets a piece of it, and Shaw has to hinge over as it comes back into the Detroit end to get it. Reverses it for Herbers near side. Draws the defense and goes rink wide for Banks. Off his skate, couldn't get his stick on it. And Vernilla will fire it out center ice. Haven't seen much of Richie Vernilla, another of the number of East Coast call-ups currently playing for Fort Wayne.
I'll tell you, that particular play, you just saw bank it off the boards and out of the zone. You're going to see a lot this period because Fort Wayne is going to be happy with this 2-goal lead, and they're going to make Detroit go 200 feet every time they get the puck.
This is the first game in the last 10 in which Detroit has given up more than 2 in a game. Here's Bezo at center with Hirsch. He'll roll it wide of the Fort Wayne net. Weeks stops it there. Campbell on the end board sends it around. Bezo knocks it down. Send it back to the corner. Hirsch comes over to try to dig for it. Up the wall it comes. Gruden gets a piece of it. Bobby J holds it in and is patient to keep it in the zone. Bezo down low now for Hirsch. Goes through him on the end boards. Tried to reverse it back. Bobby J steps off the point as it comes up the boards, and again, Detroit keeps it deep. Hirsch around the end boards. Bezo rubbed out by Vernilla. Walker comes over and get it. Vipers are in mid-change as they keep it deep in the Fort Wayne zone. A penalty coming up to the Komets as Davidson hauls down Steve Walker. And Walker's done one thing very consistently tonight. That has been keep his legs moving anytime he has possessed the puck, and he drew the penalty with it that time.
Well, the defensemen have been on the ice for about a minute because of the work down low by Andy Bezo and the great work on the point from Bobby J, keeping the puck in twice when it had a chance to get out. And those defensemen, you get tired working that down low. It's like wrestling with somebody for 40 seconds. And Steve Walker comes off the bench. He's fresh. Lee Davidson's got him. Steve Walker keeps moving his feet. He's got to haul him down. Great opportunity here for the Vipers to get right back in this game, take advantage of the power play early in the period, make it a 1-goal game. Fort Wayne's not going to be able to sit on that 1-goal lead.
This Viper power play brought to you by Sea-Doo Watercraft. Everybody's doing it at Anderson Sales in Bloomfield Hill. Off the draw, Dupuis drove it to the line. Gruden held it in. Middle of the ice, this is Aldridge. He winds up and had it blocked to the corner by Boyce. Banks battles for it there. Carson over to help out. Along the right wing half wall. Jimmy back to the line. Aldridge left point. Gruden takes it deep, fires it towards the net. Weeks makes an acrobatic pad stack save to the corner. And Dupuis will carry it out of the zone and then ice it. Boy, Gruden, somehow he's got the seeing eye shot going tonight. He got that one through again.
Well, they're going to, what's available right now is down low because Fort Wayne's moved everything out higher because Detroit was taking advantage of the shots from the point. You get it down low, and that pass across, down low in the corner and across the guy in front of the net is going to be available.
Campbell throws it into the crowd off the dump in. Let's take a look at the numbers through 2 periods of play. You're going to see a low number on scoring chances and a relatively high number on goals from a Fort Wayne standpoint.
Well, we got 6 scoring chances here. I had it as 5, but 6 scoring chances. They're capitalizing on 4. You can't do better than that. The power play is running at 50%. You can't do better than that. Face-offs generally even. Fort Wayne has got great goaltending tonight, and they've been very opportunistic when they've had their chances.
Face off to the right of Weeks. Beddoes will step in and take it against Batherson, who wins it. Norm Batherson quietly has played a pretty solid hockey game tonight for John Torchetti's club. Shaw holds it into the right point, and down like a fallen tree goes Campbell as he blocks the shot from Shaw. He's back up, and he's going to stay out there as the puck is cleared away. Minute to go in the Detroit power play. We're early in the third, 4-2 Fort Wayne. Passes behind Beddoes on the near boards, then can't sneak it back through Bawa. It deflects deep into the Detroit zone. Mezen comes out and plays it. Beddoes has trouble finding it and now collects it ahead on left wing for Walker. Makes a nice little move on Batherson and goes through center. Across the line for Thomas. Down the slot on his knees. Got a shot away. Weeks made the save. Rebound. Thomas feeds right back through the slot, but nobody there. And it'll come all the way out center.
John Gruden was cheating, hoping he's going to jump in on the rebound and went right by him.
Here he comes with speed through center. Had it poke checked away. Now Walker from Shaw into the zone. Pulls up, looking for help. Has it at the line in the person of Shaw. flips it towards the net, deflection, stick save, Weeks, who pokes the rebound out of harm's way. Gruden steps off the point to keep it alive. 10 seconds in the power play. His reverse pass comes to the line and out, and as he comes back to get it, the Detroit power play is going to come up empty again. Davidson will come out of the box as Shaw wraps it around, and all Weeks got his stick on it, put it inadvertently right in front of the net. Both teams were changing. The Komets now full strength as Davidson out of the box plays the puck through center and into the Detroit zone. Nice drop pass for Curry. Gets it to settle down, but he got bumped. Puck came out center. Good job by Mansoff, who just got enough. Now Bezo runs down the loose puck in the Fort Wayne zone. Tries to center, gets it back. Does center. Carson had it poked away at the last moment. Aldridge will hold it in left point. Steams up the boards. Cuts in. Sharp angle shot. Save made by Weeks, who stayed on his feet. Banks tries to wrap it around, and Weeks will freeze it to the side of his net. We're early in the third. The Vipers feverishly trying to come back down a pair. This is Viper hockey.
Dilbert for Office Depot.
Just as I thought, my cubicle is 2 inches smaller today than yesterday.
We installed real-time status adjusters. Sensors monitor your work and adjust the cubicle size according to your value.
It's amazing how fast you get used to it.
Here's a business idea that actually makes sense. Free delivery from Office Depot on any order over $50. Everything you need delivered right to your door. Office Depot delivers. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
Where did the power flow come from?
The Power Flow Sports Bottle. It's faster, so you can get back into the game where you belong. The Power Flow from Powerade. Power the working muscles when you need it. I am not done.
Tune in to Fox tomorrow at 7 to see the Pistons take on the Los Angeles Clippers. Catch all the exciting NBA action right here on Fox Sports. Dan Kessa, who has certainly had some opportunities tonight, comes out for Detroit. Flanked on the wings by Darren Banks and Andy Bezo this time. Steve Ludzik, as he is prone to do, shaking his line combos up.
The problem hasn't been generating scoring chances. They've generated a ton of scoring chances. They just got to convert, and he's got some bangers and crashes out there and see if they can put some traffic in front of Weeks and get a chance that way.
Davidson wins the draw. Brunella fires it around the boards. Boyce got it out center, and now Mansoff comes back to play it at the Detroit line. Aldridge way ahead on right wing for Bezo. Shovels it up the boards, but Campbell knocked it down. Into the zone. Boganecki ridden off the puck by Aldridge over to get it as Mansoff.
Good play.
On the far boards for Banks. Rink wide. He has Bezo right on the tape with speed through center. Bezo hard to the net. Got a shot away. Save Weeks. Rebound. Poke wide of the net as Aldridge jumped up to join the play. Again, fired off the side of the net as Bezo just keeps getting it towards the net. Weeks sticking that one away, and Banks couldn't get on the rebound. Boganecki plays it out of harm's way to center, and then he got rocked.
Paid a price.
Guess who? Oh, and Bezo got clotheslined as he came back into the zone. Boganecki loses it. Thomas to the slot. Bezo shot. Save.
What
Kevin Weeks just keeps putting on a show.
What a save. And you can't, Andy Bezo got it, and he let it go, and he had some mustard in that thing for the top corner, and he got robbed by Kevin Weeks. Great play by Scott Thomas here, too. I thought he was going to take the shot. Turnover here. I thought he was going to take the shot. Finds Andy Bezo. He lets it go right away. What a glove save. Oh, my goodness. There's Andy Bezo with Eric Boganecki. You know, Eric Boganecki makes the play, and then he pays the price. That's what's called finishing your check.
Carson to take the draw for Detroit. And Davidson wins it. Davidson will take a lot of face-offs the rest of the way for Torchetti's club. And Shaw, as it came out center ice, sends everybody scurrying at that far end of the Fort Wayne bench as he ripped it right in there.
The miracle is nobody got hurt.
Kevin Weeks, of those 30, has made at least 8 spectacular saves.
Well, we had 12 great scoring chances at the first 2 periods. We've had another 5 or 6 this period in the first 6 minutes of play.
Dan Curry mentioning it in our interview there in the second intermission. He has been the difference for this team. 7-2 since coming on board. Shaw dumps it in off of the shin pad of Thomas. Pederson behind the net, hit by Felsner, up to the corner, reverse back around. Shafronov has to come back deep in the zone and help. attacking from the point was Shaw. And now it's lifted back out center ice as Nemeth came over. Herbers has to weave away from pressure deep in the Detroit zone as he comes back to get it. Oh, fired it dangerously in front of the net, but Shaw was there to receive it. Vipers break out. Here's Carson through center. Has a couple men with him, but has it knocked off his stick. Nemeth again was there. Shaw sends it back in. Detroit was not onside, but it's picked off and quickly brought the other way. Nearly turned over as Davidson got a little fancy with it high in the zone. Bashkirov instead for Pederson, who fans on their, check it was Armstrong, fan on the wrist shot. Felsner quickly ahead for Carson, but it's a two-line pass out of the Detroit zone.
That was so close to being a 2-on-1 and two-line pass, but it was a two-line pass by one stride. I love games like this. I mean, even though Detroit's on the short end of the score, the skill level has been tremendous. The passing's been tremendous. Guys play with a ton of intensity. Every time you touch the puck and you move it, you know you're going to get finished. And that's the way the game should be played. And we've seen just some spectacular goaltending from Kevin Weeks. And we've got a heck of a crowd here to see it as well.
Real nice Saturday night crowd on hand. Detroit leading the IHL in attendance at over 11,000 a game coming into tonight. Down 4-2. Here's Beddoes through center into the zone with Bobby J. Sharp angle drive, and Weeks again stays on his feet to kick it away. Below the goal line again. Bobby J gets up and tried to center. Knocked away as it comes high in the zone. Beddoes got his stick on it a couple of times, and finally Armstrong will play it out. Harmlessly back into the Detroit zone. Gruden turns on the Jets to run it down. And he'll play it from behind the Detroit net. 13 minutes to go in the game. Fort Wayne with a 2-goal lead, 4-2. Bobby J's pass through the middle. Kicked at and played up by Beddoes. Nice job to pass it into the zone, and Paradise offside as Walker just let it rip anyway.
He had to pick up his foot to let Steve Walker get by. When he did, he put him offside.
The Vipers down a pair. 4-2. This is Viper hockey.
As the Vipers play host to the Grand Rapids Griffins in their third game.
Marvin McMarvin here, telling you that right now, the Tams are off at Tamaroff. And when the Tams are off, the prices are lower. See for yourself.
It's the disappearance clearance at Tamaroff Nissan. Lease a 97 Nissan Maxima GXE for 24 months for $236 a month. Call 1-800-TAMAROFF for qualification details.
Tamaroff is a good name. And today, a good name means a great deal.
The Detroit Vipers are 1997 Turner Cup champions. This season, every club is looking to knock them off their throne. But Steve Ludzik and his Vipers have no intention of letting that happen. It's a whole new season, a whole new championship quest. Be a part of the run to repeat at the Palace.
The next Vipers action is January 21st at 7:30 versus the Manitoba Moose. Free Vipers trading cards to the first 5,000 and postgame autographs from Clayton Beddoes and Brett Fettig. Vipers hockey, let us pray.
Available right now for a limited time only. Don't miss your chance to get in on the Howe lithograph. The number to call, 800-364-HOWE.
Young Vipers fan in attendance tonight. Heck of a crowd and a lot of kids.
Including the 2 junior Viper entries that we took a closer look at.
I thought you were going to say including the 2 sitting in the broadcast booth.
Always. These 2 kids are always here. Bizzo ridden off the puck in behind the Fort Wayne net. It squirts out from underneath it. Campbell was all over him, and now it's fired the length of the ice by Boyce. Mansoff will come back and get it. And touch up on the icing call. Jason Mansoff with his first Viper goal last night in Grand Rapids. The first goal of the game as Detroit jumped out to a 3-0 lead and eventually cruised to the 4-2 win.
He's been a nice addition. The first game he was a little nervous and coughed up the puck a couple of times and wasn't quite sure where everybody was going to be, but he's improved every game.
Face-off comes back to the left of Weeks in the Fort Wayne zone. Hirsch will take it against Eric Boganecki. Hirsch wins it cleanly. Aldridge right point, looks up, drives one. That hit Bizzo in the leg, I think, on the way, and went to the far corner. Campbell gets it off the wall. Oh, he had a man all alone. Boganecki through center. Instead, he misses him, and it's icing as Aldridge gets back. Vipers got crossed up, or they're starting to take some chances a little bit. But nonetheless, the icing call. Steve Ludzik hoping his team will get a little more healthy in the next week that they have off. They have had some bad luck in the last month. As we take a look at this graphic, it says it all. Look at the man games lost to injury in the first 2+ months of the season. Those first 27 games, a span of 69 days. Those last 14 games, a span of 31 days, and the injuries nearly tripling in half the time.
Just an incredible. Steve Ludzik has been around the game a long time, and so have I, and I have never seen a team that has had this many serious injuries to top players in the same period of time. On the other hand, it has not affected them the least. They've actually played better the more people go down.
Carson wins the draw, and another glove save. This one on Thomas by Weeks.
They might want to think about going the other side. This doesn't look like tonight you're going to beat Steve Weeks in the glove hand. Though Clayton Meadows did it on the first goal, but that's just that's an NHL glove hand.
A lot of those guys know it too, and they'll cheat to it.
Oh, yeah.
So you really can't go the other way.
They'll leave you half the net and say, "Just try me."
Yeah, go ahead. 12:10 to go. Detroit down 4-2. The Komets this year, when leading after 2, are 15-1-1. Detroit won 5-1 when trailing after 2. Amazing. And 42nd game of the season, and this is just the 8th time Detroit has gone into the third with a deficit. Komets able to take a lead after 1. That has been Detroit's blueprint this season. As it was 1-0 through 20 minutes, and then a wild second period that saw the Komets score 3 of the 5 goals, and that's where we stand. 4-2, Fort Wayne. Herbers from behind the Detroit net. As they'll start the breakout, Felsner comes by and skates by as a decoy. It's Shaw out of the left corner ahead for Carson.
Jimmy Carson had to kind of direct in. He wasn't quite sure what they're supposed to do in the breakout.
Thomas has it, drives one in, and a blocker save by Weeks. By that one, we've got another stanchion down, obviously right near one of our ice mics. And I think the microphone may have gone with it as it's on the ice inside the Fort Wayne zone.
Well, we won't be hearing anything out of that one the rest of the game. Let's go.
We heard plenty on that particular occasion. The players all saw this back in the first period, and they immediately skate to the benches, realizing this could be a while. And with that in mind, we will take a break. 11:17 to go at the Palace. Fort Wayne 2. Or excuse me, 4. Detroit 2. This is Viper Hockey.
Here's an update on our top story. Police now confirm the Bud Ice Penguin has been captured. Authorities say it is now safe to serve Bud Ice. That's right, just bring it all out in the open there. Nothing to worry about, everything's fine. And now, back to the music. Doobie, doobie, doo.
Drink Bud Ice, but beware the penguins.
Luxor, the total package from $49. Luxury rooms, free spa. Free Pharaoh's Feast buffet. $35 shopping discounts. Call 800-288-1000.
Back at the Palace where Fort Wayne leads 4-2. You can see maintenance staff putting the stanchion back in between the glass that just fell, and you can see dangling there a little black cord. That's our ice mic, and listen how hard it fell.
I'll tell you what, the intensity of tonight's game and how hard they've been hitting. Jenny Felsner comes down the board here. Boom.
It's like that's a cartoon sound effect, isn't it? I think I heard that on Batman about 25 years ago for the first time.
Well, at least we know the mic works.
Bonk. Zowie. 11:17 to go.
Once it gets down to 10, Detroit's got to open it up, and they just got to start taking chances. Defensemen pinch, what we call pinching with abandon.
Face off to the right of Weeks in the Fort Wayne zone. Thomas gets it back to the point for Shaw, who swings it around behind the net. Thomas again with it. Trying to jam it free for Felsner, and he does. Denny brings it near side, reverses it back. Thomas getting a rough ride, but brings it in front. Deflected right back to the goal mouth. Weeks couldn't cover it. Thomas fed it back off the post. That was a little scrambly in the Fort Wayne zone, and now it's cleared around and out.
And Fort Wayne's not going to put any pressure on. They're just going to make Detroit go the 200 feet and see if they can just take time off the clock.
They're content with those 11 shots on goal as long as the score remains anywhere near what it is. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Even if Detroit can make it 4-3, I think they'll ride Kevin Weeks, and why not? Offside is the play as it came inside the Fort Wayne stripe and then back out. Shaw unable to hold it in.
Looks like Kevin Weeks is a pretty good horse to have a saddle on tonight, the way he's playing.
Well, he's been splitting time of late with Bruce Racine. He did not play last night in Fort Wayne's 3-2 loss in a shootout at home to the Michigan K-Wings. Dan Curry mentioning Racine, who came over mid-season from San Antonio, and you can see he's been equally as solid as has been Weeks since coming on board.
Well, as Dan Curry said, the goaltending has been the biggest difference, and it's amazing. And the same thing happened with the Vipers. When Jeff Reese came back and started playing, their season turned around as well. Goaltending is so crucial.
Well, the fewest shots Detroit has given up in a game this season is 15. They've given up only 11 tonight. None have come in this period. Play in the Detroit zone, however. High in the slot, Bobby J able to dig it free and find Walker on the near side. He just deflects it center ice. Comes right back to him off the boards, and he'll steam into the Fort Wayne zone. To the slot for Kessa. Back to Walker, and he didn't have any angle as Weeks came over and just smothered the light of day and smothers the puck.
Took everything away. Great play. Walker to Kessa, and then back to Walker breaking for the net. Coming in on his off wing, and Kevin Weeks just came over, and there was nothing to shoot at. Steve Walker gives it to Kess. Back to Walker coming in his off wing. Kevin Weeks, you can see there is just absolutely nothing to shoot at. Subtle little play and does a smart thing, and Dan Kessif pulls it with him, throws it back to him, but just nothing to look at. Another good save. Makes it look easy, Kevin Weeks.
Face-off will be to his left. He's seen 36 shots now and officially 34 saves as Detroit trying desperately to get back. They've twice been within one. Aldridge's shot hit Hirsch on the way from the line. We're now inside 10 to go in the game. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Boganecki flips it up and out. And Mansoff held his ground in the neutral zone, allowing Bezo to come back and get it. He and Hirsch across the line. He let it go. Sticked away by Weeks, who reaches out, doesn't play it behind the net. Boganecki and Bezo go after it. Bezo to the line for Mansoff. His drive missed on the short side. Rebound fired back through the crease by Banks, and they got a weird bounce off the base of the dasher, allowing the Komets to clear. Aldridge plays it back through center, and as Banks plays it, that's a two-line pass. 9:20 to go now in the game. The Vipers 14-0-3 this season against the Central Division, and that number in a bit of jeopardy right now. Basketball fans, it is now a year-round sport here at the Palace, as this summer it is the dawning of the WNBA at the Palace. Catch the fever. Get your seats now. 248-377-0100.
Defensemen really got to start taking chances right now.
A few Komet faithful on board here at the Palace tonight. One of many in the building. In fact, a pair of Komet fans amongst over 17,000 on hand tonight at the Palace. Vipers down a pair. Jimmy Carson holds it in at the point. Moves it to the slot. Kessa able to run it down and keep it in. We'll check if that was Paradise. Back up the board, Shaw pinches, and you mentioned we'd see a little bit of that, Dave, and it's cleared past him.
They're just going to dump it out, dump it out, dump it out.
Davidson through center, goes rink wide with it. Komets onside. Shafronov jumps to the hole down the middle. Backhander, and Menzin with a save. He finally sees a shot this period and covers it up.
12 minutes in the third period, his first shot on net.
Well, Shafronov had that big goal late in the third that really changed the complexion of the way Fort Wayne wants to play this third period. Or I should say late in the second he scored with just 50 seconds remaining. And since then, the Komets have been very content to take their opportunities where they get them. And this is really the only one they've had.
There's a saying in hockey, and I used to hear it when I was playing. I never understood. They said 2-goal lead, worst league in hockey. As far as I'm concerned, a 1-goal lead is the worst league in hockey. I don't know where they get this 2-goal lead. And right now they're relying on Kevin Weeks. Get it out, get it in, and see if we can steal 2 points out of this building.
If that's the case, a 3-goal lead must be awful.
Must be awful.
Batherson loses the draw to Beddoes to the end boards. Gruden plays it around, and Bobby J near side for Felsner. Middle of the ice, good breakout for Detroit as he finds Beddoes. Into the zone, Bezo heads to the net. Beto's got it to the slot. Weeks just knocked it away as Bezo goes crashing into the net, knocking it off the magnets. And I'm telling you, that's a split-second game of inches, but Weeks just knocked that away before Bezo got there.
When you're hot, and tonight he's hot. But Detroit is going to the net hard. Defensemen are jumping up with the play.
Meadows with one hand on the stick. Nice little feed.
He just kicks it out, and there's Andy Bezo, who is, if he doesn't get it, 2 inches away, he's right in on the net.
I don't know if the net would have been on the posts, though,
by the time he got it through.
Had gone in. Off the draw, Komets control. Armstrong near side now for Dan Curry. Bank it up the boards to the Detroit line. Batherson, again, just gets it deep in the Detroit zone. Gruden forced to reverse it away. Batherson, I think, has given Torchetti the kind of effort he needs from a few players, and that's just a role players type effort tonight. He's won some face-offs. He's cleared the zone when he's had to. He's created some chances. Felsner got a shot away. Weeks made the save, and it's cleared back up the glass. I think you heard it go right by our microphone there. And frozen at the point by Gruden, and now everybody converges. They're right there at the end of the Fort Wayne bench. And you know, probably
one linesman's got the other 9 guys, and the one linesman's got Bezo.
I was going to say, you know that Andy Bezo right now is probably wearing the Detroit frustration a little more on his sleeve than anybody. 7:50 to go in the game. The Vipers with a 9-game winning streak that is on the line right now, the second longest in the IHL to date this year. And of course, only Fort Wayne's 11-game streak has bettered that, and that's got to be a little bit of motivation for the K's here tonight.
Well, I can't tell you how much as a player when you get traded, you want to come back and beat the team you traded, and it's more than anything else to show that they made a mistake, or to show them that they didn't appreciate how good a hockey player you were. And Andy Bezo, I mean, he would have just loved to beat Fort Wayne in here tonight and have a great game. He's had a great game. Unfortunately, the score is through the efforts of Mr. Weeks is on the other end.
Kessel wins the draw. Mansoff tried to play it ahead to Aldridge, over skates it, now just has to fire it down low. Banks battling on the end boards, able to dig it out to the line for Aldridge. He'll throw it towards the net. Weeks made the save, and Dupuis throws it to the perimeter. Still not out as Aldridge steps off the point and battles Ian Boyce for it. Walker tried to feed it back to the line. That took too long, and reaching out with the stick, Davidson deflects it back into the Detroit zone. Here's a giveaway. Boyce has Davidson with him in the Detroit zone as Mansoff didn't get anything on his backhand pass. Aldridge coming back trying to help out. Bawa battling there. It's pushed ahead. Banks will go cross ice for Walker. Gets the red line and diagonally dumps. Weeks comes out. It comes right to the slot. Kessel nearly beat Armstrong to it there. Swung around and deflected past Mansoff. It'll come out center. 7 minutes to go in the game. Fort Wayne with a 4-2 lead. Banks and Aldridge nearly collide in the neutral zone. Aldridge will start out again from the Detroit end, ahead for Banks on the near wing, and his little backhand pass deflected in by Felsner, who jumps to the opening. Pulls up in the corner, still with it, feeds it back at the line for Shaw off his stick. Herbers will come back and get it, and play it through center. Felsner with it there. Cross ice off the skate of Herbers, he couldn't control it, and Tom Nemeth for Fort Wayne. They'll just go up the opening, and that's the near wing back into the Detroit zone. Shaw quick to play it back up the boards. It's a 2-line pass that they let go.
I think it hit Danny Felsner on the way through.
Deflected, yeah. Felsner finds a man coming down the slot. It's Herbert. Can't get it out of his skates in time to get a shot away.
Danny Felsner's had a heck of a game here tonight.
Komets again will just use the glass and clear. This one will go all the way back in as Bezo will touch up. Icing is the call. Down to 6:05 to go in the game. Detroit with a 39-13 shot advantage and a 4-2 deficit.
I thought when he graduated from Michigan he'd be a solid 30-40 goal scorer in the NHL, and he's really struggled in his pro career. And I hope kind of the misfortune is maybe straightened out. He was just tearing up the East Coast League. He's too good a hockey player to be down there. He is a great player on his off wing, and there's not many of them around that can play as well as he does in his off wing, and he's played well tonight. Steve Ludzik's recognized it and put him in a lot of great situations. Played on the power play. He's played a ton here in the third period. Steve Ludzik's calling timeout right now, wants to give his guys a little rest, and I'll tell you right what he's telling them is, guys, throw caution to the winds. He's going to have 4 guys in. He's going to have the first 2 guys are going to dog the puck. The third guy is going to go hard to wherever the puck goes. The fourth guy is going to shut down the board, and he's going to have 1 guy back. That's what he's telling right now.
Using his timeout here is Steve Ludzik. The Vipers, in back-to-back game situations this season, have fared very well in the second game. They're 6-1-2 this year in the second of back-to-back games.
Don Churchetti saying just the opposite, saying be smart, get it out, use your head, don't take chances. You know they're going to come really hard. The only thing Steve Ludzik's worried about, you got to go hard, finish, and then come back, because you can't get 4 or 5 guys trapped in below the top of the circles. It's a guaranteed great scoring chance going the other way. So you go hard, finish your guy off, and then jump back and get yourself in position again.
Face off to the right of Kevin Weeks in the Fort Wayne zone. 6:05 remains in the game. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Banks to take the draw against Batherson. He wins it, but he just had moved Gruden away from that spot to the point, and that's exactly where he wanted to.
Look at the shots in net tonight. 39-13, 3-1.
Vipers will dump it in, and offside on the play was Bezo, and it's whistled down immediately. The third period for both of these teams has been their worst period this season. As far as the goal differential goes, Detroit is a -4 coming into tonight. Fort Wayne is a -11, and that's hard to believe, even with their recent winning ways, but that shows you the struggles early in the season that the Komets had.
Imagine they had won 11 in a row. They would be really minus going in.
Face off right in the center circle. Hirsch will take it for Detroit, and again Batherson wins it. Granilla back for Fort Wayne. Will lift it out of harm's way and then bounce off of our microphone. Back comes Gruden to get it. John Gruden, who had a 3-point game in the first meeting this year between these two clubs, has added another goal tonight. For Bobby J, rink wide now to Darren Banks. He'll bust up the middle with it. Into the Fort Wayne zone, wide on left wing to the corner. Banks wants to cut in front, try to stuff a backhander, but again, Weeks just held his ground on that post. Came back to the front of the net, and he grabs it off. As Bezo and Batherson are going to go. No, Bezo goes. Batherson goes down. The glove and the right hand, all one motion, coming off and going into Batherson's face as he went down, and then everybody line brawls to the back of the Fort Wayne net.
Little wink there from Andy Bezo to somebody. I don't know who it was. But they're probably not winking back.
You can see Batherson is bent at the waist. He was the recipient of that. Ed Campbell was there talking to him. Dan Curry, whom he played with last year, may have been whom he...
Yeah, we got a... Yeah, it was a one-punch knockout, and it looks like he broke his nose. That's getting caught on the beak.
Now Gary Hall off the Fort Wayne bench to attend to Batherson, and I think they'll go to the locker room.
Little confrontation, and you got to realize who you're with. Boom. That was not...
Well, you got a couple token shots afterwards.
But it was the first one.
Yeah, it was.
That was it. Yeah.
Watch the stick go out of the hand, the glove go off the hand, and the right hand all in one motion.
Boom.
Batherson will indeed head to the Fort Wayne locker room along with Gary Hall.
But Norm Batherson, you got to be smarter than that. You know that Andy Bezo doesn't talk. He's not going to look.
He's
trouble finding the door.
Not exactly sure of his whereabouts is Batherson, who now gets the right door and heads off. He tried to go out the Zamboni door.
He may be a little woozy right now. But he knows who he's with, and you know that's if you're with him, he's not going to be any talking, he's not going to be shoving. It's going to be drop and go, and you got to be ready to drop and go. That's one of those. It's your own fault.
Well, and at this point, this is pivotal here. The way that Dan O'Halloran calls this could seriously.
Darren Banks still thinks he's the captain. He's pointing. He says, "There used to be a C here. There used to be a C in my sweater. I used to be able to talk in those things."
But the interpretation of Halloran's penalties here could go a long way. And we saw it last night in Grand Rapids. Detroit led throughout the game. The Griffins, with about 5 minutes to go, made it 4-2.
Bezo's going off, so he's got 2 and 5 for sure.
Took a penalty, did the Griffins, with 4 minutes to go in the game that just absolutely slew-footed their comeback hopes. And now as Bezo leaves, it will appear at least Detroit gets the long end of the penalties here, which is going to make the comeback efforts very difficult for the Vipers. He is given a 5-minute major, is Bezo.
Nothing on the other side.
And if that's all that goes up on the board, the Vipers are basically shorthanded for the rest of the game. We're down to 5:19 to go. Campbell goes off for Fort Wayne. And they've put nothing up on the board for him, so maybe a couple of minor penalties that wash, but we'll have to wait for the official word. The fact of the matter is right now, both teams have 4 skaters on the ice. The scoreboard only showing the 5 extra penalty minutes for Bezo, who was given a 2-minute minor, 5 for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. We're not exactly sure what the penalties are for.
Well, it looks like Detroit's going to be shorthanded. And as most of our viewers know, with a 5-minute major, if the team scores, you don't get out of the penalty box.
Time does not come off the board. So now Fort Wayne does send another man on, and they come out on the power play where they've already hurt Detroit, and Mezin makes a save on Davidson. 2 power play goals and 4 opportunities for the Komets so far. All alone at center's Kessa for a shorthanded breakaway. Now 2-on-0 with Gruden. Over, score!
Holy mackerel, what
were the Komets thinking there? It's a game again.
Unbelievable.
You give Kessa a lot of credit. He had the presence of mind to handle the pass and then make the pass. Gruden's second of the game.
Unbelievable. All you want to do, you're on a 5-minute major, you're going to be on the power play for the last 5 minutes of the game. The only thing you don't want to do is give up a shorthanded goal. And they give up a shorthanded goal 27 seconds into the major.
Kessa will draw the assist on Gruden's second of the game.
Don Ciorcetti is beside himself. He can't believe it. He's jerking all those guys off the ice and putting on a brand new 5-man unit, and I don't blame him.
8th of the season for Gruden. 3 of them have come against Fort Wayne.
It's a 2-0 from the red line. Unbelievable. Got to give Dan Kessa credit. John Gruden converts, but a 2-0 from a red line when you're shorthanded.
So Detroit has 2 shorthanded goals in 2 games against Fort Wayne. They've only given an assist to Kessa, but somebody fed him the puck from deep in the zone. It's got to be a second assist on that goal as the puck's fired into the Detroit bench.
I think it was Brad Shaw from the corner.
Yes, there's got to be a second assist on that goal because Gruden couldn't have made the pass and jumped up and been in on the 2-on-0.
I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of guts in that situation for 2 guys to leave the zone because that puck doesn't get out.
Take another look here, see who gets this out.
Steve Walker, smart play. Look at John Gruden, takes off right away. And Kessa's already taken off. Hits him on the fly. Great pass by Steve Walker. 2-on-0 from the red line when you're shorthanded. Unbelievable. Steve Walker just continues to put up the points.
He now has an 8-game scoring streak with that assist from out of the zone. So now Fort Wayne really has to work on this power play. Obviously Detroit hoping to get an even up penalty and get this thing to 4-on-4 at some point as Herbers clears the zone. We're down to 4:15 to go in the game. There's only a 19-second difference between the major penalty on Bezo and the game clock. So Detroit really needs to draw some sort of even up penalty or score again shorthanded. Here's Beddoes in the Fort Wayne zone.
What the Fort Wayne should be doing is just playing keep away. They got 5 guys.
Shaw takes a chance, knocks it down, keeps it in the zone, and fires it deep. Vipers with as much jump right now as the Komets. Beddoes below the goal line.
They're hemming Fort Wayne in with a man when they are man down.
And you can hear from our ice mics, Kevin Weeks has got some words of encouragement for his teammates as to get the thing out of here. Now Shafronov to the left corner of the Detroit zone, down to 3.5 to go in the game. All the way to the right point for Pederson. He'll wind up. Mezin kicks that away. Shafronov out of the far corner, now near point for Armstrong. Flips it towards the net. It just bounces away.
3-on-2.
Rivers the other way with Kessa leading the rush. Walker will join him into the Fort Wayne zone. Wide on right wing. Kessa will take it in behind the net. In front, Herbers, and a save by Weeks. He swats the rebound out of midair to center ice. Kessa all the way back to pick up Walby in the neutral zone, who dumps it across, and Felsner rides Curry off the puck. Down to under 3 to go. It's wired around the boards. Walby holds it in across for Pederson, and his shot blocked by Gruden all the way back into the Fort Wayne zone. We're seeing the Komets right now, Dave, keep a man in the neutral zone on the power play at all times so nobody can get behind them.
All they have to do is just keep away. I don't understand what they're doing here, and John Turchetti is just going to be livid after the game.
Walby deep into the Detroit zone from a sharp angle. Couldn't get a shot away as Aldridge deflected it behind the net. Bawa has it knocked away. Aldridge drove it to the line off of Curry. It comes out center ice. We're down to 2:20 to go in the game. 2 minutes left in the penalty to Bezo. The Vipers need something. Here's a giveaway. Aldridge throws it towards the net. Rebound deflected over top by Carson. Oh, the Komets just throwing it around in their own zone on the power play. Nemeth trying to freeze it in the corner, and he will.
I wouldn't be surprised if Don Cicchetti calls a timeout here. He's got to get his guys straightened out. Right now, the Vipers are just dominating them. 4 men against 5. I mean, it just dominated. Kevin Weeks is
beside himself.
Oh, what are you doing?
Carson got to the rebound. He just deflected it over the crossbar.
He's talking to these guys and going, they've had multiple great scoring chances. Just over the top of the net.
He got a piece of that. He just got a piece of that. Here's Kessa setting up Herbers.
Herbers walking in. This is where a man down here. Look at Kevin Weeks going, get this thing out of here. And he's livid. And I don't blame him. All they have to do is keep control of the puck. They got an extra man.
39 saves for Weeks so far. They've needed them all. It's 4-3. Fort Wayne has the lead. Detroit has been shorthanded for the last 3+ minutes.
And outshot Fort Wayne 5-1 in the last 3 minutes shorthanded.
2:04 to go in the game. And a goaltending change is going to be made here by Steve Ludzik in an attempt to buy some time for his club. Jeff Reese will come out, and that's all this is, folks. This is not a goaltending change because of anything other than just trying to buy some time.
You get about 15 seconds with a new goaltender in there. They'll give you about 15 seconds for him to get set up, and that's all this is. It's just that extra 15 seconds. Give his big guns a chance to rest.
And Reese will be out between the circles as Detroit will try to win the draw and pull him to even the numbers up. Although the Komets win the draw, and Campbell quickly shovels it ahead. Reese thought he had the day off. Shafronov stood up at the line as Bashkirov brings it into the Detroit zone. Wide around the net, gets bumped by Kessa. Loose puck dug out to the line. This is Campbell. He'll step in, now fires it across the zone. Bashkirov knocked it out of midair to the line. Kessa trying to sneak out. Carson got a piece of it. Shaw spun around, does get it out. Kessa to Carson. To the bench goes Reese. Detroit gets the extra man on. 1.5 minutes to go in the game. Their net is empty. Carson feeds it in front right down the slot. Aldridge winds up. Saved by Weeks. Aldridge again with it. He has Shaw out high. Instead flips it towards the net. Deflected high in the air. Beddoes gloves it down. Pushes it around the end boards. It'll come near corner. Run down, and Shafronov hit hard by Kessa. Got it up the boards. Dug out by Beddoes. Throws it towards the net. The glove save by Weeks. 1:11 to go in the game. 53 seconds left in the penalty time to Bezo, which apparently is not going to be an issue. Detroit's going to have to go with the net empty in the extra man. High marks to this Detroit club. They have gone hard down the stretch when it looked like it was over.
Just an incredible shorthanded performance, and that's what happens when you have smart hockey players gambling at the right time, knowing what to do in these situations. And I'll tell you right now, Fort Wayne is playing like dumb hockey players. All you have to do is get the puck in deep, keep it deep down low. You're outnumbering guys down low. Keep the puck away from the Vipers. You can move it around all night if you do it smartly, the way you're supposed to do it. And Detroit's not going to touch the puck the rest of the game. And what they're doing is throwing it away with abandon. Detroit's had 3 or 4 outman situations when they're a man short. It's just unbelievable. Kevin Weeks is livid, and I don't blame him. And John Torchetti's going to be livid too, and I don't blame him either.
Ludzik isn't even going to put Reese back in the net. He will start with the net empty and set Beddoes up on the near wing. Right to Gruden off the draw, and Weeks with another save as he blistered it on net. How big can Kevin Weeks play?
I'll tell you what, it's pretty amazing.
Gruden making a bid for a hat trick there, and I don't know if he'll get a better chance.
Just a great draw by Dan Kessa. Throws it back soft. One-timer, screened, and he makes the save.
Weeks out at the top of his crease in great position. Again to his right, 1:09 to go in the game.
Now we got Lee Davidson out taking the face-off. He and Boyce just jerked.
Davidson wins it to the far boards. It's bounced off of Gruden and out center ice. He'll back all the way into the Detroit zone with it. Takes a look back for Aldridge. 1 minute to go in the game now. For Gruden one more time. The Detroit net is empty. Head on right wing off of Kessa's stick. It comes into the zone offside. They didn't blow it dead as Carson was dumped loose in the neutral zone, and Davidson's shot intercepted by Aldridge. He'll fire it to the line. I don't think Carson, Carson did get a piece of it. Dupuis stops it behind the net. Around Boyce gets enough of it to get it out center. 35 seconds to go in the game. The penalty to Bezo will end in 10 more seconds. Detroit will have an extra man for 19 seconds if they can. Thrown through center. Dupuis loses it. Gruden jams it ahead. Precious seconds tick away in front of the Fort Wayne bench as they jam at it, and now it's sent into the Detroit end. The penalty is over. Vipers can put an extra man on. As Shaw back to get it in his own zone. Banks with a long pass through center. Picked off by Pederson, who will drive it wide of the empty net. This will be icing. And it's touched up with, the clock ran down another second. 3.6 seconds left on the clock.
And he's talking to him
right now. Over comes Dan O'Halloran.
What is it?
Let's take a look now at tonight's play of the game, brought to you by the Bravo card, the Clayton Beddoes goal that got Detroit going offensively in the second period.
Just a great play here at the corner by Keith Aldridge. You'll see him coming off the point, and a bit of a bad giveaway there, but picks up the puck, patient with the puck, looks to see somebody in front of the net, finds Clayton Beddoes, and boom, top corner. And that's the only shot that's beat Kevin Weeks in his glove hand tonight. That's why it's our play of the game, because I want to see it again.
That's brought to you by the Bravo card. Imagine credit and extra credit. Bravo, use it where you see the Novus sign. Detroit will send out Gruden, Carson, Kessa, Shaw, and Banks. And now Walker will join them. The Viper net is empty. They have put the clock back to 4.4 seconds. The face-off will be to the right of Kevin Weeks, who has already made 42 saves tonight. 4-3 Fort Wayne. Kessa will take the draw. They want to set up, it looks like, Darren Banks, as everybody will go to the net, jamming for either a rebound or a screen. Davidson to oppose Kessa, who wins it. Banks, snapshot, save, rebound. Oh, it just went to the corner. Kessa runs after it. The clock will run out. Oh, he served up a rebound. Nobody was there. There was an empty net to shoot at, but instead Kevin Weeks holds on just long enough, and give him credit. He played outstanding tonight. The Vipers' 9-game winning streak has been snapped tonight at the Palace, and in the process, a 7-game home winning streak falls by the wayside. A hard-fought 4-3 victory by the Fort Wayne Komets. And we're back with more to wrap it up from the Palace following this.